And we are back with another video. And with regards to what we are going to discuss today, is before I get into it, there is something funny going on. But before that, Ryan is in the chat as well. He's talking about, can he join the stream? Yeah, in some time, definitely. As I mentioned, Harvey, being a Manchester United fan, is doing his Arteta in rant, and Ryan is doing out. But he's still going on about in. But with respect to a few things before I start off, as I mentioned, keep mentioning, the monetization will be starting by the end of this month. And the other thing is, we will be having our own intro coming in soon. That will hit the screens once the monetization is in as well. And probably by the end of the month, we'll have our intro and outro coming in. I've spoken to my editor, and we'll be making a different intro than the one that we have for the pre-recorded ones. We have a fixed intro for that, but we'll be having something different for the live ones, something more subtle and something more nice for all you guys. And the one, I think the one for the pre-recorded ones is kind of loud, but that is how it is supposed to be. It's kind of intense. And Mike is again a United fan. He's Arteta in, but this isn't about Arteta in or Arteta out. It's not even about discussing whether he's doing well right now or not. That is a different stream in itself. We already had those kind of debates going on around the channel and more. This is about something else. This is about a comparison in some aspects between Wenger and Emery and Arteta. That is not all three of them combined, but Arteta and Emery and Arteta and Wenger. And the fact of the matter is that it's not going to. It can be a discussion about, and a debate can only happen where the thing is where do these qualities actually make him better or they don't. Relentless will probably be joining in into the video as well. Ran will be coming on. If any of you want to get in as well, I'll be putting the link out in some time. Before that, I just want to say big up to all you guys in the chat. uh, Sankalp, one of the guys who was a regular who used to come onto the videos and on Twitter, is also known by Understanding Football. That is his Twitter account, has COVID right now. So just a big shout out to him, and hopefully he recovers soon. And he has sent out some of his inputs as well in a few WhatsApp messages to me. So I'll be going through those as well. But right now, as I said, big up to him. With respect to changes on the channel, as I said, the intro and the outro will be coming in. And on the websites as well, beyondthepost.net. If you guys don't know about the website, we post a lot of regular football and cricket content there right now. We'll be covering a few more topics related to Arsenal, young talents across Europe, and more. We have our set of writers coming up in as well. And as I said, the pandemic situation in India is such that we are still in lockdown. And hopefully Sankalp is back and he is fit and doing well soon. Hope all you guys are doing well and are safe at the moment as well. So before I get into the topic, I wanted to add a few things. This is not kind of a debate that will be going on. It will be more of a discussion. And so we will be talking about a few things, the comparisons that I have noticed, similarities and dissimilarities between the managers. And further, it won't be too much tactics because I have been discussing about most of my videos when I have had the chance to defend Arteta and what is going on in certain games, like the one in against Villarreal as well. I've been speaking a lot on the topics of the topic of tactics and more. This will be more about it. It will be more about as managerial capabilities and individually what similarities and dissimilarities they have with respect to man management and more, and even team management. So I'll be doing that and transfers and more. So we'll be having that kind of a discussion here. Rich Sports is saying season finished for your team. I think if we can finish this season on a high, it makes a lot of difference. It could make an impact with respect to many things, including the fact that if Arsenal finishes this season with a few more losses rather than a few more wins, I think then Arteta's chances of going increase at the end of the season. And from now until the end of the season, they'll be monitoring the situation very closely. It also depends on what the players want and what kind of players will be coming into the club. So I think those few factors will be decided from where we finish in the league table by the end of the season, and whether we are able to impress now or we actually crumbled under the pressure that we're already in. And big up to Strip Bear as well. Thank you so much for joining in. So now before I start off, I'll tell you the reason why this video is relevant with respect to the topic. And one last thing before I start off and get into it. This conversation or this stand that I have with respect to Arteta in, It's about the fact that I feel that there is a rebuilding phase right now going on at Arsenal. A lot of Arsenal fans feel that Arteta is not the right man for rebuilding the club or rebuilding the squad in a way that we can be winners. But two things I just want to highlight with respect to that. One, when Unai Emery was in charge of Arsenal, the fan base was like, they gave him a season. Uh, some of them were like, no, we can't tolerate this anymore at the end of the first season. Majority were still Emery in at the end of the first season. They wanted to see what Unai Emery will do in his second season. But what happened is, because he started losing and because he lost a few personnel like the likes of Aaron Ramsey and Laurent Koscielny, things went downhill for him. And Arsenal does not have a lot of leaders within the squad, which is a major problem. So once that happened and he started losing games and he couldn't produce the similar kind of results and his league position was under severe threat, the fan base turned on Unai Emery and got him sacked. Now, when Arteta, they did not like Arteta, and the same thing they tried to do was with respect to Emery versus Arteta. They were now backing Unai Emery for some reason and said that he was the better manager, and probably some of them even said that we shouldn't have probably gotten Unai Emery sacked in the first place. Me, in the other case, I was backing Unai Emery. I'm still backing Arteta because I feel that a manager needs a bit more time. He cannot do miracles in one season. Yes, his season has gone a bit downhill right now, but it can again change in the next season. If it doesn't change at the start of the next season, he could be sacked then, because at the end of the day, he has a contract for say 3 years. If he gets the players in, some good players, then he can make a difference. But let's see what happens with that, because I have enjoyed the last summer transfer window. I do not have too many complaints about the players that have come in. I do not have too many complaints about the fact that we got in a balanced kind of signings. The only problem is Thomas Partey needs to be fit if he wants to make an impact. Otherwise, the flop tag, or he would probably have this kind of a tag which he may not like, and it will stick to him, because this season I can understand he came in injured. He has been there have been a lot of injuries that is still reincurred again. Martinelli has been injured at times as well. He has slowly transitioned into the team. Arteta still does not rate him that highly as the fans do, and there are some players that might be leaving like Bellerin and co. So I feel to maintain the unity of the dressing room, he has taken a stand where he has played some players a bit more than they would have probably deserved, but they will probably be going. They'll be probably going at the end of the season. Big up to I ate the juice box. I hope and you enjoyed the juice inside as well. And big up to Luca as well. Big up to Rich Sports. Fair play. Yeah, Tuchel has done a fantastic job. But I think the team was anyways good. I think he had a good team. Even Frank Lampard finished last season in fourth place in the top four, and I think Chelsea has a way better team than Arsenal right now. And yes, soon I'll be getting them on. So the reason, again, the one thing that I want to mention here is I am not going to change my stance just because I may get more views. If I would change right now, if I say I change today, now itself, I change from Arteta in to Arteta out, more people will start watching me because they will start enjoying the fact that I'm ranting against Arteta, and that's what most of the people are right now doing. They're ranting. He's saying, a United fan is saying, Mikel Arteta, we want you to stay. Hold on, Harvey, you'll see the difference. Let the transfer window happen and let's see what happens. And you got more subs. Yeah, I did. Thank you so much to everyone who has subbed to the channel. So I was saying, if I would today switch to an Arteta out instead of being an Arteta in fan, I would not be accepting what I feel is true. That is, I feel that the transfer window is the main part where it can happen, things can happen, and he can turn things around at the end of this transfer window. And that is what I still feel, when he will get rid of more players and get in new players. And that is where I think things will change. If I suddenly now today say Arteta out, I think a lot of people will start subscribing to the channel. People will watch the videos and they'll say that that we support your opinion about Arteta out, and they may start with a few trolls. But eventually, maybe 1 or 2 weeks down, when the trolls die down, they eventually will start saying that, okay, because you are now Arteta out, we agree with you. But it's not about agreeing with me or not. It is about the fact, about what I think and what will happen, and what I feel will happen in that sense. And I feel there will be a massive change in the summer transfer window. There will be some free players coming in, 1 or 2 free players, 1 or 2 loanies. That is, a total of around 2 or 3 players will come in, which will be very cheap buys. There will be around 2 or 3 good buys coming in. So total 5 or 6 players should be coming in the transfer window, including one of which it can be Martin Odegaard as well, who could be either brought in on another loan or signed permanently. And Rich Sports is saying Lampard is a bit like Arteta, not good enough. I do not totally agree with that. Tuchel is definitely an upgrade to Lampard. I can agree with that, but I don't think Lampard wasn't completely good enough. And Chelsea versus Arsenal Wednesday, yes, that is a big game as well. We'll do something about that as well. If you want to come on for that video, like a preview kind of thing, and you remember the one secret video that I asked you for, if you're in for that, then definitely we can have you on and we can do that video as well. So yes, so the reason I will start this comparison is a lot of Arteta out fans say that Arteta does not have any good qualities in him. Arteta is just trying to emulate Pep Guardiola, who was his boss at Manchester City. But if you actually look into the picture, Ryan is saying Lampard was not the best. I'm not saying he was the best, but I'm saying he wasn't a very poor manager. But he wasn't as good as Tuchel as well. So Tuchel is definitely an upgrade. But you need to remember, even without any transfers, he got them a top four finish with very young talents, and the likes of Mason Mount and Reece James were Lampard spottings as well. Like, he was the one to actually bring them into the first team, and he chose Reece James over Tariq Lamptey, who left for Brighton. He told the club that I want to pick Reece James and I want to play Reece James, and we can let Lamptey go. Even though, look at the way Lamptey plays as well. He's a bright prospect as well, but look at the way Reece James plays. So some credit goes to Lampard, even though the Chelsea fans may say though that he doesn't deserve any credit. It's all Tuchel. It's not true. There are some. Billy Gilmore is another example who played today again. There are some youngsters that Lampard pushed as well. I'm not saying he's as good as Tuchel. He's nowhere as good as Tuchel, but Lampard has his positives as well. And I did have this discussion at one point of time that I felt that Lampard was somewhere better than Arteta in a few ways as well. And but unfortunately, Chelsea has the money. They can sack anyone they want. They can buy anyone they want. Arsenal has the money, but we don't spend it in that sense. Let's see what we do in the window. And now Lampard is better than Arteta, disrespecting Frank a bit. Yeah, I exactly agree with it. Lampard is better than Arteta in a few ways eventually, but Arteta did manage to beat him in that FA Cup final. You can't make any excuses for that FA Cup final. We did manage to beat Chelsea when it mattered, because even Lampard was desperate for that trophy. And Pulisic injured, I got it. I get it. Pulisic was injured. But then Lampard has enough good options on the bench, and the whole season they were barely playing with Pulisic in the team. So that cannot be an excuse. They finished in the top four without major contributions from Pulisic because he was injured most of the time. And Lamptey was not in favor under Lampard. I agree. One of the reasons he was not in favor under Lampard is because Lampard had Reece James and Lamptey. Both wanted to play in the starting 11. Lampard has had his first choice fixed. He said that I want Reece James to be my first choice. Lamptey can be as a backup. He can play as a substitute. He can play in the cup ties. But Lamptey wanted first team action and he left for Brighton. So there is no two ways about it. I can understand that, but I would have rather preferred if Lamptey would have been fit in somehow on the left wing or something like that, and he would have played like how maybe Asaka does on the right hand side with the left footer. So on the left hand side with the right footer, like maybe how a Willian plays. And an inward forward is what I'm trying to say. He could have still played and he could have still done a good job. I don't know how Marcos Alonso, even though he scored today again, is still there. Whereas a player like Lamptey, who's a future prospect for them, they let him go. Anyways, ready to get, just give me 2 minutes. I just want to get into the discussion, then I can get you on. They were both poor this season. See, the thing is, again, I think the similar situation, I'll just use this as a pointer between Lampard and Arteta. Lampard got a few players that he did not really need. He needed mainly a goalkeeper and a centre back. And if he had a squad similar to the last season, probably an additional striker would have helped. If he just got these three, like say a Timo Werner or maybe a Havertz, maybe the goalkeeper Mendy and Thiago Silva, I think he could have still produced the similar kind of form that he got last season. But because he was overshadowed and in a way he was given too many players, big players to play at once, which he did not really need and know how to control them that well or play them that well and fit them into a system, that is very struggled. Look at Timo Werner. Even though he can still do what he's doing, like he makes good runs with the ball, his finishing has not improved under Tuchel. So those are some of the reasons why Lampard did struggle as well. And with respect to Arteta, why I'm saying he's a bit similar is because Arteta overplays some of the players that are not good enough right now, because either one, he wanted some of them to stay as a backup or a squad player because he knows that he's not going to get a lot of money. He can't revamp the entire squad in a single transfer window, and he did not want to lose the dressing room. when you don't play a certain number of players who have been senior players, even though they may not be the best of players, you shuffle things around, and you also want to give your young players like Saka, who has been playing a lot. Who else? Maybe an Aubameyang who's tired. You need to shuffle around and give them some rest as well. So in order to do that, he had to play some of the players who were not good enough. We all know it. Even Arteta knows it. But what happens is, at the end of the season, if some of these good, not so good players are also leaving, like because we don't have even the Europa League at the end of the season, so then that is a bonus for Arsenal. Even if we end up in the Europa Conference League, if some of the deadwood still at the club leaves, like Bellerin and maybe who else is there, Kolasinac, and all these guys decide to move on with their career, that is also a big bonus. So that is where I want to see which players will be coming in at the end of the season. Let's wait and watch. There are more things to follow this season. Yeah, however, in all circumstances, Frank was better last season. Yes, again, when you don't know how to use certain players that you're given, but you have to play them, it can be problematic. Look at the example of Maurizio Sarri. He did not want to play Kepa because of the incident that happened with Kepa. He may have not wanted him to play too much. He dropped him for a few games, but brought him back into the team because he did not have anyone better. Caballero is not better than Kepa. The only thing Caballero is better at is probably penalties. It was a serious joke when I saw Caballero in the Argentine goal in that World Cup tournament where Romero was injured. And if they had Martinez at that point of time, in the 2018 World Cup, they could have put up a much better fight, I feel. Caballero is not a good goalkeeper at all. Anyways, so let's talk about Unai Emery. Yeah, talking about Unai Emery, and I'll start the discussion off before I get people in. Talking about Unai Emery and Arteta. What are the similarities about Arteta and Emery? One of the major similarities that Unai Emery and Arteta have is that they both are very system-obsessed managers, which I also got from Sankalp as well, who's recovering from COVID, so get well soon. They are both very system-obsessed managers. Not in the sense that they will start with the same formation. The formations will change, but like for Emery, at least it changed a lot. But they're very obsessed with the system. And Ryan is saying Caballero is crap. I know, he isn't good enough. Yeah, so the thing with Emery and Arteta is, even in the Villarreal game, if you must have seen, they are very system obsessed. Another similarity that you can see between them is they have a certain fixed set of time where they make substitutions. Unai Emery likes to make substitutions just at the stroke at half time, like once the game is resumed. Generally, he loves to make substitutions at half time. Arteta has a fixed time period where he likes to make a substitute, which is around the 65th to 70-minute mark. So they have a certain fixed time period where they like to make their substitutions. That is another thing that is similar in both of those managers. The other thing that I feel is similar, this is similar between Emery and Arteta, is another third thing, that they don't tend to, you can say, take the comments of fans really at heart. I mean, they don't try to be like too obsessed with what the fans are thinking. And I will tell you why. In fact, sorry, with respect to Emery and Arteta, I apologize. I want to correct that. They both tend to take the comments of fans to heart. I was just actually sharing the video in a group. But yeah, so they tend to do that, because I'll give you the best example of Unai Emery doing this. Unai Emery was being slated all day long on social media for not playing Mesut Ozil. And when Arsenal was losing games or not winning games, he decided to suddenly bring Mesut Ozil out of the box and started playing him. Similarly with Arteta, what happened is, which we saw again in the Villarreal game and the last few games, he was trying to work things out with his other players. He does not really feel that Martinelli is yet ready to get into the system. But when the fan base was going on that where is Martinelli, play Martinelli, get Martinelli in, he also in a way tried to get Martinelli into the team and tried to get him on early, which was what the fans were demanding, that your substitutions now need to be early. You can't be making late substitutions. So that is another thing that he did, and he listened to the fans. And I think these guys follow a lot of social media, and they agree, they try to do what the fans have been telling them on Twitter and at times on other platforms as well. Otherwise, if you remember, Emery never wanted to play Ozil in the first place, but eventually he did not have an option. The fan base kept slating him, and the fans in the stadium also were going about it. It was going on everywhere, and he had to play Ozil. Even similar with Arteta, Martinelli, some of the things with respect to the Saliba incident, he had to address it out because he could not avoid it because they were taking his case with respect to that as well. So there are a few times that these guys tend to react to it. Wenger, I think, was less reactive in comparison. Wenger didn't care. A few similarities between Arteta and Wenger. Both are stubborn. Wenger was very stubborn, and Arteta is also very stubborn with respect to things. He thinks that if this is right, it's going to be right. If this is wrong, it's going to be wrong. So I think he is very stubborn like Wenger. Wenger was very mechanical in his playing style. Mechanical in the sense Wenger's best thought process was pass, create the perfect goal and score the perfect goal. Play indirect style of football. Do not play direct. Do not take direct shots. Do not put direct crosses into the box. Keep playing that indirect style. Create the perfect goal and score it. Arteta is similar to Wenger with respect to, as I said, being stubborn. That is one. Two, Arteta is very mechanical, which we saw. He's not mechanical in the Wenger sense, but what he tries to do mechanically is he does not want the team to lose his shape irrespective of the situation that they're in. It is, in some ways, it is a good thing. In some ways, it is not the best thing. So he's very mechanical, as I was saying. He doesn't like his team to be losing their shape more often than not, which was, again, the best example, the Villarreal game. Last 15 minutes when you are supposed to be forgetting, saying fuck the system, and like push everyone forward, try to get a goal, get your defenders and centre backs into the box, try to deliver aerial balls and get them in as well. At that point of time, he was still trying to fix the system and see that the team is in shape. So this is why he was kind of mechanical. The third thing is a difference between Wenger and Arteta is Wenger was a complete yes man, and where here is somewhere like a few fans may disagree with me, but I think Arteta is not a yes man. He has said that last season. He clearly showed that he wants, and this season again he has at times shown that he can you can say he can disagree with what is things happening at the club. And Wenger did not take the stand. If you remember, Wenger did not take the stand of getting rid of some of the players in mid-season or pre-season if he thought that they were not good enough, like the way that Arteta did. And even Emery couldn't do it. Emery did not have the balls, and Emery did not have the guts to control the dressing room, which I feel Arteta is doing much better. Wenger, this is a similarity that Arteta has with Wenger, where they both were good managers of the dressing room and they did not lose the dressing room. Arteta hasn't lost the dressing room in that sense, but the intensity was a problem. This again is a similarity. You're right.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, you were still
Oh,
echoing.
what's happening? Second.
So this is the similarity. And another thing that with respect to Wenger and Arteta, they ideally the intensity was a problem with respect to Arteta's recent games. It has been a problem with respect to his certain games uh, in the current season. Intensity has been a problem. The play in the final third has been a problem because they are trying to have a monotonous style of play. That is something that we could see under Wenger as well. He was not tactically that great, so it became a monotonous style of play at times as well. And the main thing is, I'm talking about the second phase of Wenger, that is the Emirates phase. I'm not talking about the first phase because the first phase was a completely different team and things were very different at that point of time. So Ryan is back again.
Hello, Nitish.
Big up, Ryan, and how are you doing?
I'm good.
So can you let's get into the topic, and can you talk about a few similarities that you may see between Wenger and Arteta or Arteta and Emery?
Well, the one thing here is that Arteta and Emery are both Spanish, and
I would have never thought of that, but go ahead.
that. Sec.
Go ahead, Ran.
Okay, but yeah, a similarity is just they're just not the best managers as well. Like, they just don't get results all the time either. And yeah, they're just both not the best in tactics either. They
Okay, and
just
I just want to quickly add that last season Arteta was very pragmatic as well. Unai Emery was always pragmatic. That is a similarity that Arteta had last season to Emery. But this season Arteta is playing a similar style that Wenger used to play, which is more forward-pushing football. And unfortunately, it's not produced the greatest number of chances and the greatest number of goals. But I think one of the main reasons is the biggest difference that Wenger and Emery had over against Arteta. That is the form of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, which was good till last season, but it's not been the same this season due to various other reasons as well.
yeah, like you need you just you just you just need Lacazette and Aubameyang up front, and I think you'll get loads and loads of goals. And if you have Pepe to deliver that in with Martinelli on the left, who deserves more games as well, have have um have Lacazette and Aubameyang in the middle, that could be deadly.
Yep, I do understand, but the thing is, even though Arteta has tried sometimes playing these guys, the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette together, it's not worked out because of certain reasons. Because Aubameyang is the one that he ideally plays on the left, and for some reason, Aubameyang has been found out this season with respect to that the fact that he's not able to do much about it. And just a quick few updates I just want to give. Liverpool have gone 2-0 ahead with Thiago Alcantara coming and scoring the second goal. He scored the second goal, and the assist came from Roberto Firmino for Thiago's goal. So that's 2-0 to Liverpool against Southampton. Another update quickly just before we go ahead. Beyond the Post on Twitter is now on 2,636 followers. We are targeting 3,000 maybe by the 15th of May. So if we can get that the 3,000 followers, that will be a big help as well. And Ryan, any similarity that you see between Wenger and Arteta?
Well, like you said, they both have gone on attacking football. I actually haven't become a football fan since December 2018, so I haven't been a football fan for that long, to be honest. So I've actually never seen Wenger before.
Okay, so you would not be having an idea about it. That's all right. Uh, if you had to compare Arteta or Unai Emery to any one of your Cardiff City managers, how many Cardiff City managers have you seen till now?
Free.
Okay, three. So, does any Cardiff City manager remind you of Emery or Arteta in particular?
Well, we had Neil Warnock. He was just like boot the ball long. He was boot the ball long and just
Yeah.
get it forward. He was. Harris tried the pass, but he didn't have the players. And McCarthy is now just boring. I got to be honest.
So none of them you feel are similar to Arteta or Emery in any way.
No.
Okay. So I can understand that because they are different clubs, but I was just asking you because of that simple reason. And we have Mike in the background as well, and I know he's going to say Arteta in, but go ahead, Mike.
How you doing? To both of you, first of all. Hope you're both doing well, staying safe, etc., etc. Before I get into any football discussion, obviously, all of that good stuff, making sure everyone's well, obviously, being in COVID, everyone, can struggle with mental health. So, just saying DMs open and everything like that, first of all. But, yeah, I'm not doing too bad, mate. What about yourself?
I would have done better if we were in the Europa League final and would beat you after that, but unfortunately, it's not the case.
No, it's fine. Yeah, but I mean, unlike Ryan, unfortunately, hasn't been able to see some of Wenger's good. Because let's be honest, I mean, people take the mick out of Arsene Wenger, but he's done some miraculous things. Him and Sir Alex Ferguson have literally changed English football in the way it's done. Essentially, not potentially. Even now, Wenger's not in management, not looking at management, and he's still having a massive impact on what's going on. and he's not connected to Arsenal, not connected to football in any way, shape, or form, and he's still conducting how football is. In terms of the actual title, what's similar to how he's similar to Arteta and Emery. I think I get the point when you say that some managers are pragmatic and some managers are sort of fluid. The reason I'm doing this is just to sort of get it into grips. I'm going to use Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a sort of example. I think when Ole was brought in, we were in a really bad place that Mourinho left us in. I mean, eighth place and 16 points off the top four, which was absolutely ridiculous. Or ninth, and 14 points off the top four it was. And top four looked like a mile away for us, and everyone was saying, you're never going to get it. Absolutely no way is Ole going to do it. And everyone expected him to get sacked within like the first month or so of management. And to be fair, I did say, I don't have any footage of me actually saying it, so I can't say go back and have a look at what I said. But I did say to a lot of mates, I said, don't give Ole the job until the end of the season, even if he got us top four. I said even if he won us the Champions League, I said just don't give it to him until the end of the season, because it could boost his ego when it's not wanted. And as soon as we gave him the job, we had 6 games to go and we lost 4 out of those last 6. And he plays at the start. If someone, never watched football and I had to describe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, I'll say Man United because, we know how poorly he done at Cardiff. I'm not going to hide away from that. I know Ryan, probably will say he's a crap manager, but I do get that. I do, get that he wasn't good there. But then on the other side, he's won the Norwegian Premier League 3 times. I know it's the Norwegian Premier League, and it's nothing to write home about. It's probably the same level as the Championship, but still, it's a domestic. It's a league title. You can't sort of disregard that. It's a league title no matter what country you're in, whether you're in the Icelandic Premier League or the English Premier League. It's still winning the title.
And he won it with a team. He won it with a team that hadn't won it in, I think, 15 odd years.
16, yeah. So I mean he's still. And if you was to say to me, has he improved Man United? I would say 100% yes. I think we play a little bit more expansive now. Mourinho was like, let's go through it. Ferguson, we don't need to talk about Ferguson. Everyone knows about what Sir Alex Ferguson was all about. Moyes came in. The only thing I hate Fergie for is telling Ed Woodward and the Glazers to appoint David Moyes, but Fergie's on in my bad books for that. Moyes a bit. I don't know what Moyes' style was, because we didn't really give him time, really, and I don't really think he had enough time to adapt his style.
And neither the backing, Juan Mata and Fellaini, only 2 transfers in a window.
I think the board knew. I genuinely think the board knew that when they appointed him, they knew this is not long term. So they thought, we're not going to back the manager because we know it's not going to be long term. With Ole, let's be fair, he's been given the best cam in the Premier League, because I think De Bruyne plays as a centre mid, so I can class De Bruyne as a centre mid. But I think one of the best, or we'll just go one of the best players in the league. He's got one of them in Bruno Fernandes. He's been backed with. I mean, you look at the players that Ole's been given in terms of quality. Well, forget the usage of them, and by saying that, people watching will know exactly what player I'm on about. But he's been given quality players, the likes of, like say, Bruno Fernandes, Donny van der Bench, Edinson Cavani. Cavani for me is one of the best strikers in the league, and I still can't believe that on deadline day I said, what the hell are United doing? I even posted a tweet saying, at Man United, don't bring in Cavani, we want Josh King. Look how that turned out. Cavani's got us to a Europa League final.
He actually fit in well to your system, and that was the thing, because he isn't a striker who slows you down. Then that is exactly what you needed. So that is why it has worked out well.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'll go back to your point, actually, because that's a very good point. I actually genuinely thought that when we signed him, it was going to be that sort of Lukaku signing, where you got to play to his strengths. But Cavani, he's He reminds me of the Zlatan signing, really. You bring him into that team and he's not going to fail you. But he might not score during the game, but he's not going to fail you. So linking back to Arteta and Emery, I think, I know, like you said, I heard you say earlier that if you named this show or any show Arteta 8, then you're going to get the views for the wrong reasons. And if there are any Arteta inners, I'm not going to say you're wrong, you're right, because that's your opinion. If you think Arteta's the right man, then you think he's the right man. If you don't, but that's not this show, like you've said. So I'm not going to talk about my opinion. You know my opinion. Everyone knows my opinion because I don't stop posting about the situation with Arteta and Arsenal. I think that with the backing, he will be a good manager. But here we go. Forget that. So yeah, I think he's a bit more...
one thing I'll quickly add there. Before United got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Bruno Fernandes, even he was laundering around the bottom half of the Premier League table. So you remember that phase, right? When Bruno came into the team, everything changed. The whole situation changed. So if Arteta can get his Bruno, anything can happen next season.
Yeah, I mean, nobody needs to say how important Bruno Fernandes is in that team and how much he's changed Man United. I mean, that first game he played, because I remember we lost to Burnley, 2-0 at Old Trafford on the Wednesday night, and we signed him on the Friday, and then he basically said, I'm ready to start the next, and he literally started the next day after that against Wolves. And every single time he touched the ball, it's so weird with Fernandes because he literally can't have a bad game. I don't understand it. He cannot have a bad game because if he has a bad game, he still ends up with an assist or a goal, which is crazy to think that. But I think if Arsenal get a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, and we're lucky, we have two. We have Paul Pogba and Fernandes. We have two of them. If Arsenal get one, I think they were hoping Odegaard was going to be that one. And unfortunately for him, it just hasn't worked out. But I think who is a Bruno Fernandes? I mean, when you look at the transfer market, there's not many. Yeah. I thought Odegaard would have done a lot better than what he did. James Rodriguez has already gone to Everton. Coutinho's linked to Everton as well. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that you could possibly say as the next Bruno Fernandes or someone that's going to change your team. But someone I'm disappointed in the Arsenal team, and I've said this before on Twitter, I'm really disappointed at Pepe. I thought he was going to be a lot better than what he was. He's done okay, but when you spend 72 million, you're expecting a little bit better. I mean, Dan James has nearly done the same amount as him, and I'm not slating you or any Arsenal fans. It's not your fault. You're not Nicolas Pepe. You're not Dani Ceballos. You're not these players that are playing bad. I just think Arsenal have got unlucky over the last few years, and that's filtered down through Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery, and Mikel Arteta. All of them have gone through rough stages. And someone said this on a YouTube stream that I was watching. I can't remember who it was. I think it was actually Matt Goldbridge from the United stand who said this. Okay. He was live just on Twitch playing Grand Theft Auto, and obviously he's not that professional on this. So he was talking about the Arsenal situation, and someone said, if you was the Cronkies, would you sack Arteta? And he said, actually, I wouldn't, because what's that going to solve? He said there's players in that Arsenal team that don't deserve to be wearing the shirt, and there's players sat on the bench that do. And he said, compared to Emery, which I'll bring up now, there's massive improvements under Emery's football, because the football under Emery was boring, it was slow, it was lethargic. Where under Arteta, they're trying to attack. It's just that the problem with trying to attack is you leave yourself open at the back, and that's when your teams like Burnley, Fulham, Newcastle, Sheffield United, even West Brom, that's when those sort of teams will try and nick points off you, because they know if they get free kicks, corners, and dead ball situations, then they put their 6-foot centre-backs into the box and put pressure on the likes of Pablo Mari, Chambers, Holding, because let's be fair, I don't think Arsenal have, apart from Gabriel, I love Gabriel, I have, even when he was at Lille. Apart from Gabriel, I don't think Arsenal have a commanding centre-back, someone who can win the ball in the air. I think United have it with Maguire, and people could say I'm being biased.
I would say Pablo Mari. Pablo Mari is there. Pablo Mari is commanding.
Yeah. Actually, I'd agree with that. Yeah. Okay. And he plays on the different side to Gabriel. He's left-footed and
No,
Gabriel's
both
right-footed.
both of them play on the same. They both left-footed. That is why
Oh,
they don't play
they're both
together.
left-footed, are they?
Yeah, that is why they don't play together.
Is it Saliba that's right-footed then?
Yes, he is right-footed.
Yeah, Saliba. I keep getting Saliba and Gabriel mixed up. They look quite similar as well, but we won't talk into that. So I think Man United have it with Maguire. Now the thing is with Maguire, and I love linking Arsenal to Manchester United because I think we're both in a different stage. Man United have gone through the stage that Arsenal are in right now.
Exactly.
And it's basically a cycle, isn't it? This is what you're going through right now. Was Ollie in his first, not first season, because in 17-18, this is what you're going through now. And I do feel sorry for Arsenal, and a lot of people will say, "Bloody hell, who's this? This ain't Mike Green." But I do actually feel sorry for Arsenal because I know that how bad I was feeling 2-3 years ago when people was calling Ollie a PE teacher and he has no clues, counter-attack FC. And I was basically having to say, I basically had to sit back and accept the banter, accept the jokes flying at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he's improved leaps and bounds.
I can just add one thing to that is, even right now, Manchester United's main weapon is the counter-attack. So even if they were calling you counter-attack FC, I don't understand what's bad in that. Like, that is also a style of play which can help you win a lot of league. It can even help you win a league. Mourinho used to play a lot of counter-attacking football. Most of his tactics were built around counter-attacks. And I don't understand, unless it was like a smaller team which sits back and defends with 8 or 9 people behind the ball. Even then you can play counter-attacking football, which was the tactic that was employed against Villarreal, because you have to employ proper counter-attacks against those teams as well, because when they try to move forward and attack you and around 4 or 5 of their players are in your half or in your box, that is when the spaces open up and you quickly need to counter-attack. Unfortunately, the likes of Pepe are not good enough to do take-ons or push forward, and that is why that game got messed up, where we could have at least had more 6 or 7 chances, but the intensity of the players eventually died because every time we tried to counter-attack, Pepe would turn around and play the ball back to the defender or the midfielder. So that is why also I rated him my worst player of that game. But anyways, that would become more like defending Arteta again. But quickly, let me just go through the comments. Wenger is the third best manager of last 25 years. Behind Ferguson and Guardiola, I think Wenger and Mourinho are on a close level, right? I can say, because both have won quite
Jose.
Similar.
Where's Jose? Yeah, Jose's definitely up there. I know I hated him at United towards the end, but Jose's a winner. He has to be.
I think some would say Wenger is third best, Mourinho is fourth. Some would say Mourinho is third, Wenger is fourth. So in that sense,
because Guardiola's only been in English football for 4-5 seasons, I think. So, I mean, yes, he's won, 3 Premier League titles. Well, 2, going to be 3. But, no, is it 3? He's won 3, hasn't he? Or is it? I can't remember, but he's won.
He has won a couple. I think a couple. This is a third.
Because he won the one, then he won the Centurion one. No, he won the Centurion one, then he went and won the other one when they beat Liverpool to the title by a point.
He won 2 consecutive, then Liverpool won. Before that, it was Chelsea. So he's won 2 now. This will be his third.
So he's won 3 essentially. He's not going to drop this third one. So he's won 3 titles. Wenger's won how many? Well, Wenger's won 5.
Wenger won. I think even Wenger has 2. How many? I think he has. Yeah, I think he has 4. No, he doesn't have 2. He doesn't have 2. Let me remember.
3.
Invincible. Yeah, he has 3. Mourinho has 3 as well.
And then we know about Alex Ferguson, 13. But I personally, I mean, I'm not saying this from bias. I mean, you could ask literally a million football fans, and pretty much anyone will say Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time. And there is no.
2003.
Yeah, sorry, 3, I think. Do you want me to check?
No, even I remember 3. Even I remembered 3. But when you said 5, I got a bit thrown off with that. It is the Invincibles one. I think it was 96, 97 and 98, 99 if I'm not wrong.
He's won 3.
Let
me. He won. He's won it in 97, 98,
97, 98. Sorry, not 96.
01, 02, and then obviously the Invincible.
Yeah.
The Invincible
I
was
need
3-4,
to
wasn't
get
it?
the years right. That is the only concern. I remember the 3, but when you said 5, I was like, 5? Whoa, that's too much.
Yeah.
I think he
mean,
won more FA Cups. I think he won more FA Cups.
yeah, I didn't know this until I looked at this last season or the season before. But Arsene Wenger's never won the League Cup. It's quite shocking, isn't it?
No, it's not, because he always used to play the kids in those games.
Yeah, shocking is the wrong word. Then is mad that he's won 3 Premier League titles, something like 8 FA Cups, and not won a League Cup. But like you said, he
just a quick similar point. Wenger and Klopp, they both won't win the League Cup. You know the reason why now.
Oh, Klopp, yeah. I don't get me started on Jurgen Klopp, because I really am annoyed about what Klopp came, because he came here with the sort of attitude he came with the sort of attitude that the League Cup doesn't really matter. But I mean, that's why the fairy tales of certain teams winning the League Cup. I mean, Birmingham. Sorry to mention Arsenal fans, but when Birmingham won the FA Cup and beat Arsenal, teams that you just don't expect to win it. Otherwise, if teams like Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham put their full strength team in every round, it's probably going to be them in the quarterfinals, semi-finals anyway, isn't it? So yeah, I kind of respect it, actually, giving the teams in the lower end of the Premier League, Championship teams even a chance to go all the way and win a trophy.
That is why it surprises me why Pep Guardiola and Manchester City does not have more FA Cup wins.
No, Pep Guardiola is an absolute nutter. Pep Guardiola will put his strongest team out against Accrington Stanley. When Newport played Man City, their starting 11 was 450 million quid worth. I mean, he doesn't care. Pep Guardiola's a winner. He does not care. He's already said that as well. When they played, who did they play? And they won 9-1. Was it Burton in the semi-final? I think. 9-0. 9-0. Yeah. And then they only won 1-0 at Burton, didn't they?
Yeah, they have had some fun with that tournament. Actually, they know that the only serious ones are the Premier League sides.
They've won 4 in a row. Yeah, and don't they're gonna win it next season as well, because teams don't put their strongest team out, and City will. And when you have a squad, not a team, when you have a squad like Man City, I mean it. I'm not salty, but it's going to come across salty. But when you've got the money they have to just splash at anyone, it's like they're going to get Haaland in the summer as well. It's just happening. It just really is happening. And whether people say no because they got Jesus, I mean, we saw Jesus today. He's absolutely woeful. How he's bundled his way to Man City and he's going to win 2 Premier League titles, I just don't know. But
no, the funny part will be next season if Jesus and Sterling are their backup players and they play in the League Cup and they get knocked out.
Oh no, that would be funny. No, but I think Sterling walks into that Liverpool. Bloody hell! I think Sterling walks into that City team. But yeah, I think going back to Arsenal, because I don't want to keep going off on a tangent. The main thing is Arsenal. If you had to pick your best Arsenal 11, I think this is quite interesting between the players that Emery used most and the sort of, well, we'll call it the Arteta and Emery players, even though a lot of them from Emery continue over into Arteta because he hasn't really spent that much. Are there many players that they get in from the Emery reign, or is it all Arteta, or is it a bit of both? What do you personally think? Because that'll probably give a better understanding to either what manager had a better brand of football or what manager was more successful at the club in terms of that, to be fair.
No, see, with respect to the first thing is that Emery's tactics were never going to win us a league because it was more of a cup tactic. That is pragmatic football. You can't keep changing your formation every week and expect to win the league. It was never going to win us the league. The ideal situation, I think, that the Arsenal the management thought of was that he'll win us the Europa League and get us into Champions League, and we'll give him some players and not all of his players, but maybe some of his players, if he can do that. If I said this a few times, if Emery had won that Europa League title, he would have still been at Arsenal. And
do you think this is this? Sorry, it's really sorry to cut you off. I just want to
No
quickly
worries.
ask this before you carry on. Do you think Emery was right to be sacked? Because I still think, people still say Moyes should have had more time. Forget that. You can take that opinion and throw it in the sea. But do you think Emery should have had more time, and do you think he was sacked at the wrong point, basically?
See, the manager, the fans don't understand that the managers will have their up and down seasons. Emery's first season was an up, his second season was a down. Now, if you don't when you know that the manager had one up season, one down season, the only way you can determine whether he's actually good or not would be on the basis of his third season, whether that is going again up or it is going down. If it would have gone up, he could have stayed. If it was going down, further down, and we would not win anything, it would be totally gone. But the only reason he was sacked was not because of what the fans think. It was because of the fact that he lost the dressing room. And if not for that, I think he would have stayed. I was Emery in, so I was getting a lot of hate at that point as well. So I'm used to it now, so I don't care about it. But again, I think any manager that is coming in, whether it is Arteta, Emery, or any top manager also, needs to at least have 2 to 3 seasons until you can finally say whether this guy can produce something or not. If you start judging them based on one season, you will eventually make the wrong call, and then all you will say is, oh, but this manager, the last one, was better than the current one. And that is how it will keep happening in cycles.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, to be honest. I don't see why fan base is always divided. I'm just going to put this into perspective again to Man United to again reflect, because I know a bit from Arsenal from sort of the outside perspective, but I don't know what a lot of fans are thinking, whether they're Arteta in. I'm not going to ask you for your opinion on that, because, like you said, it's your personal opinion. But I think when the fact, right, like the fact that I'm even saying this is just mind-boggling. We're second in the league. Beat Villa tomorrow, we've pretty much guaranteed second. Well, we're going to finish second no matter what. We could be on course for 80 points. We're in a Europa League final, there's a massive sort of movement in trying to get the Glazers out of the club, but yet fans are still more worried about the Ollie in, Ollie out divide, and it's upsetting. And I'm worried that Arsenal could be in that divide if, as much as I banter Arsenal and it's funny to like laugh at Arsenal for certain things. I want your owners out of your club ASAP as much as I want the Glazers out, because all of the top six need each other's owners out to save the game that we love, isn't it? I mean, you probably want Daniel Levy out of Tottenham, even though you hate Tottenham. I want Sheikh Mansour and John Henry out of Liverpool, out of Man City and Liverpool, respectively. Even though I hate them and laugh and banter them, if their owners are in charge, they're the ones that are going to be bantering us by potentially going through another Super League saga. So yeah, I'm worried that Arsenal could be going through what we're going through right now in a year, two years' time, where yes, you might be doing well in the league. If you get backed, you might be. So, say you sack Arteta, for example, at the end of the season, bring in a manager, and he gets you to qualifies you for the Champions League, finish inside the top four, and wins you a cup, for example, like the FA Cup. But then he said the Glazers, but then the Kroenke family are still in charge. Then in the summer, instead of trying to get the Kroenkes out, get better owners in, and then try and rebuild Arsenal from the bottom all the way back up to the top again, there could be a divide saying, I don't know what manager is, we'll just say manager for now, and people could be saying, oh, but I'm manager in, but I'm manager out. And I don't want that for any other club, because it's painful. The fact that we're doing so good on the pitch, Man United, at the moment, and the Glazers are basically running the club into the ground, but yet there's still the divide of, oh, but maybe Ollie isn't the right man. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm Ollie out. I'm Ollie in. At the moment, I couldn't give two craps about Ollie in or Ollie out. He's second in the league. He's taken us to a European final. He potentially could get second and a trophy, the exact same as Mourinho did, and finish like 20 points behind City, which what Mourinho did. But yet there's still the divide about Ollie and Ollie out when the Glazers literally literally a button away from ruining the club. All they have to do is literally just leave the club, and then it's all sorted. But I just don't trust the Glazers to do that, and we just gotta, like I said in the when I was there at the protest at Old Trafford last week, I said this can't be the end of it. It can't just be one protest. The one 2 weeks ago wasn't the best, but the one Sunday was huge. It got Man United Liverpool postponed. Let's not kid ourselves. Man United Liverpool is the best fixture that every single fan looks for in the calendar, and Man United fans got that cancelled. Arsenal fans could easily get their next game cancelled. And if
Arsenal fans could have impacted the way that our team played that day on the pitch, because what there should have been, I was saying it, that if the fans need to protest against the Kroenkes, don't do it on Thursday, do it on Sunday. Let this game go. This is one of the crucial games of the season. Don't do it on the Thursday. We don't want to interfere with the mentality of the players. We don't want to interfere, and we don't want to impact it in any way negatively. And then at the end of the day, we did not see any intensity from them on the pitch. So I don't know whether it did impact or not, but why do you want to take the risk when it is your biggest game of the season that could change and shape everything for next season, irrespective of the owners? Why would you want to take such a risk and protest on that day when you know that it is an impactful day for your team? And when you're saying that you're not against the team and you're against the owners, why would you do that? The other thing is, there are so many people who are desperate right now to get the Kroenkes out that they're saying we would take anyone instead of Kroenke. Same thing with Arteta. We want to get Arteta out. We'll take anyone instead of Arteta. That doesn't work like that. You can't make impulsive, stupid decisions and then say that it didn't work out. If Daniel Ek comes in, he doesn't have the money. He has to put money into the club first because of the losses that we're making. He has to put money into the transfer windows. He has to keep pumping money into the club before he starts to get returns because of the pandemic. So you are trying to get in an owner that may possibly not have that kind of funding to put in money for the next 5 to 6 years. But the fans are so desperate to get Kroenke out. They're so desperate to get Arteta out that they would even take a Maurizio Sarri. Some of them would take a Maurizio Sarri over Arteta, who may run the club into the ground or even help push us even further towards the bottom half of the table. So it's not supposed to be impulsive decisions, and that is why not all decisions that the fans think are right are going to be implemented by the club. So with respect to Kroenke, I think the main problem is they need to start spending. And if they start spending, and I think with the likes of Edu and Arteta in charge of the transfers, I can see good transfers being made and the right kind of transfers being made that we need, not just random players that we want in our squad. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't have let go of a lot of players in the January transfer window, which they thought were extra or surplus or not needed. And they were like being a hindrance to the overall morale of the team.
Yeah. I really can't not do or say nothing but completely agree with what you just said. And I think that whatever your perception is towards either the fans, the players, the players, the management, the coaching staff, or higher up than that, the ownership, whatever your stance is, whether you're Kroenke in, whether you're Kroenke out, whether you're Arteta in, out, whether you want Bellerin to leave, for example, whether you want Aubameyang to stay, whatever your stance is to do with in and around the club in that area, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be derailed by whatever side you are. It should be all, we want the best for Arsenal Football Club, whether that's the ownership all the way down to the players, the coaching staff. Like, let's be truthfully honest. Could you guarantee me that every single player that plays for Arsenal wants to put 100% effort and grind and work in, week out? Because I can't. I mean, there's a few players that I think, there's a few Arsenal players that I've been watching Arsenal a few games this season, obviously the 2 games against United, of course, and some other games that I've seen Arsenal play in. And there's a few players that I really do think have that mentality. Bukayo Saka, I think he's an absolute unit and he will not stop working. I don't know if he's been doing that the last few games. I didn't watch your semi-finals against Villarreal.
It was one of his worst games of the season. he was looking out of. He was looking probably tired and out of form in that one.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't watch the two your two semi-finals. I kind of wanted to, but I couldn't get the split screen to watch ours and yours. But anyway, yeah. So the games I've watched of Arsenal, I think Saka's been one that's put in a shift. Obviously, I know you said a few games have been poor, but you know he's played pretty much every game, and he's only young. Emile Smith-Rowe as well, I think, has looked bright. And another one is weird actually. I think Lacazette's played really well this season. And a lot of people keep talking about Aubameyang, and I mean Aubameyang's been really poor this season. Been rubbish, if you ask me. But whether that's due to expectation, and I heard you say this, I can't remember if I was on the show when you said this point, or you was, or I wasn't coming on, but I heard you say that Emery was lucky that he had an informal Aubameyang, whereas unfortunately for Arteta, whether it be injuries, bad form, he's not really had, you know, a firing Aubameyang. Like, and even look at some of the players that Arsenal have let go. I mean, some have been very questionable. Aaron Ramsey. I know I'm biased being Welsh, and Ryan can agree
shouldn't
with
have
me.
been let go of. They shouldn't have let go of him. They should have tried to negotiate, and the amount could have been negotiated, but they shouldn't have let him go. If they had plans of letting Mesut Ozil go, like somewhere in the future, or he was anyways going at the end of this season, they should have probably stuck to Ramsey, because if you have seen the stats, I think we have 3 goals from midfield this season. But what I'll do is, Mike, just let me get a few comments in, and then Ryan can have a say because he's been listening to us quite patiently. The comments coming from Gaza's Mudge is Arsenal need a top goalkeeper, centre back, and midfielder. And big up Miss Melina in the chat as well. Thank you so much for the support. Why don't Arsenal get Romero from Man United? He's out of contract. I said it on one of the streams as well, and way better than Leno. I don't know whether he's better than Leno right now because he's not played a lot, but he's a good goalkeeper as well.
Yeah,
and,
about Romero, I don't want him anywhere near Manchester United after what he said. So, if you want to take him on, what he said about Man United, I absolutely hate the man. Close hate. Well, no one's ever going to be hateful more than Angel Di Maria. But you can have Romero. He's a quality goalkeeper. I'm not going to say because of what he said. I won't go into what he said, but I'm not going to say because of that he's a bad goalkeeper, because he's not. I mean, in terms of ability, I would say he's second choice ahead of Dean Henderson. But Henderson's got a way bigger potential. But we just can't have 5 goalkeepers on our books, because we've got De Gea, Henderson, Romero, Lee Grant, who's leaving. Thank God for that. That was another useless signing. We've got Matty Kovar, who looks to be a very good player. He's been unreal for the under-23s this season, and Joel Pereira. I don't know if people still remember him, but he's still at Man United. I just think Romero needs to play consistent football, needs to play week in, week out, and he's better than Leno, if you ask me. I mean, that's bold. That's very bold, but I think he is better than Leno. He's better with his feet than Leno. He can play the ball out from the back. We saw that in the 2014 World Cup with Argentina. That's how they got to the final. If you watch some of their games, game against, was it the Netherlands in the semis, I think it was, and he was passing the ball out to the centre-backs and pushing Argentina up that way. I think that World Cup was when teams really started to pass the ball out from the back, because Chelsea won the league. Was it the season after, or that season, or the season after under Conte? And Romero would suit Arsenal. I want to see him do well. As much as I don't like him, I'd want to see him do well. Every time, once a red, always a red is the saying, apart from Di Maria. Hope he does go to between 10th and well, he's never going to go to like top 4, but maybe go to like an Arsenal. Maybe Villa would get him as backup. No, he wouldn't go to Villa because of Martinez. I would like
no, Martinez is probably linked to PSG and Atletico Madrid.
I have, that's mental. I have not heard that. Are they strong rumours?
Yeah, they are strong rumours, because Navas, they want a replacement for Navas, and Martinez is young. And for Atletico Madrid, if they sell Oblak, then they want him as the first choice.
Wow. I mean, from a player who was constantly on loan from Arsenal to teams like Reading, Birmingham, Sampdoria, I think. might be wrong.
He
in that,
he
but
played well for Reading as well. I think he saved them from relegation one season.
yeah, I mean, when he played, no, he didn't play against us. No, I thought he did. But no, I think it was that
Yeah.
FA Cup semi-final. Was it against City?
Yeah.
I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal in that game. But so if Martinez does go, maybe Romero could go there. But I'm just gonna put my headphones in. So if you wanna speak to Ryan a minute, that's perfectly fine. Whilst I just put myself on mute a second.
Yeah, I'll just quickly go through the comments. Ryan, give me a minute. And Mourinho said Mourinho, since he said Wenger was specialist in failure, has done nothing apart from League Cup. Yes, we know that it's exactly League Cup and a Europa League as well. Emery was very bland. Cheddars is saying, Gaza Smudge is saying Manchester United have fallen behind oil at the end. It was bound to happen when you have such owners who have big money. Big up to Simpy. Big up to Relentless. Arteta out. It's not about Arteta in or Arteta out right now. Big up to Simpy again. And Wenger going showed that the higher ups are full of shit. Well, actually, there are more problems, not just higher ups. There are the players' mentality has also been not the same since Wenger left, and he is better than Leno. He is because he's an international player who has been playing for too long. But the problem is because due to his lack of game time, I'm saying at the top level, he's been sitting on the bench for United. I don't know what they have against goalkeepers, and they have done that to Valdez and now to Romero as well. And the reason for those comments coming in from Romero that I'm with respect to not being happy at Manchester United were because they didn't let him leave. They already had their two first choice keepers, and what was the point of keeping him as well? I think it was more of kind of fear of not letting him go to a strong rival that would strengthen them. Let Emi come back to Arsenal. If there is a buyback clause, we would definitely want Emi at Arsenal. I have no doubts about it. Ryan, still there? You
Yeah,
waited a
still
long time.
here.
Sorry about that. And yeah, so do you think Solskjaer is a good manager? And what do you think about Sergio Romero as a goalkeeper?
I'll say something about the strikers as well at the end of that, but I think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's just a manager who likes to get some attacking players. I feel like he needs to play Alex Telles more because he's not really giving Luke Shaw too much of a rest. So I think Alex Telles should be starting more. I just think
Not after Thursday's performance. I don't want to see Telles play again. Carry on.
Yeah, but Ollie, he was an. I'm just gonna go back to Cardiff, even though I didn't like it, but him, yeah, he signed Sean Morrison and Manga. That's all he did, and he signed a bunch of flops like Cornelius, that Elkus Wolf guy, and they all and he signed. Did he sign Makeda? I think he signed Makeda as well.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
difference was is that he changed the team a lot.
Yeah, Makeda. He was
Hold on.
Didn't keep the same team.
From Man United, he keeps playing the same players week in, week out.
Yeah, and yeah, when I come back on after Ryan's had his words, I actually want to bring up a point that I've literally just thought of. But carry on, mate. Carry on.
Go ahead, Rand. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that was just my dad. He's a Man U supporter, anyway. But him at Cardiff.
Red Army.
Go ahead.
Well, when we had Malky Mackay, apparently the only reason they sacked him was because he was racist, and all the fans are singing "Don't sack Mackay, Malky Mackay," and then he goes and sacks Mackay, and then Solskjaer basically does nothing and sends us down. Then he gets sacked after 9 months after getting the job, and then he goes off to whatever, Norway, is it or something?
Molde in Norway.
Molde, yeah, in Norway. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, what was the other topic?
About the striker situation, wasn't it? No, Romero.
And then the striker. Romero. So I feel like he's a good keeper. I really do feel like he's a good keeper. But because of how many English players you have to have, he hasn't been in that squad. So I think he's actually a really decent keeper.
That's a good point, actually. That's actually a really good point about the English thing.
On the other side,
That's why it's brand, really.
I think he was let down by Man United. They promised him a move,
Yeah.
But they kept him in.
Yeah, that is why his wife was pissed off and she was like talking
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff on social media that like my husband should be allowed to leave. He's a prisoner at Manchester United, and eventually nothing happened. And they did the same thing with Valdez as well. I don't know what's Manchester United's obsession with keeping extra goalies in the bag. So that is a problem that they have. Hopefully now that they have fixed that, it's going to be Henderson and Daya who are going to be the two keepers, and Romero is already 34.
De
I think
Gea's
now
gonna
they will
leave.
probably let him go. But I think then go ahead, Ryan, go ahead.
My dad thinks, and I think, that De Gea has always been number one. Even apart from a few mistakes,
Yeah.
you can see why he was once ranked the best goalkeeper in the world, and he could still be right now because he had a brilliant performance against Roma. And if he can perform like that every game, then
Oh,
he'll
yeah, tell me about it.
definitely be there. And if he performs like that every game, then he's going to be the best goalkeeper in the world again.
I think the problem was a bit of maybe saturation with football, but the overall thing is the problem is not that. Even as a second choice keeper, he is one of the best in the world. But I think the only concern would be his wages and the money that he demands from them.
It's all right to come back to me in a minute.
Yeah, just a second.
Carry on, Ryan, mate. Carry on.
Relentless had one comment. See you later, mate. I won't be able to come on tonight. That's okay. He's driving. Big up to Relentless for coming in on the chat. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan. You were saying coming in the chat.
Can I just move on to the striker thingy now?
Yeah, sure.
So you have Lacazette and Aubameyang. So what if you went and bought? What do you think? You might not agree with me, but these might be two good options. Ivan Toney from Brentford and Morelos from Rangers.
I don't mind Ivan Toney because he's been doing well, but you need to understand there is a risk with him and with Morales from Rangers as well. They have been playing in different leagues and they're performing. There are two factors to this. One is the move to the Premier League, which is a major one for every player. And the second problem is Arsenal currently is not creating enough chances, at least what we have seen in this season. 39 chances, around 39 chances created, I think, in the whole Premier League season, or was it total? Whatever, the number is 39. So we have not created enough chances. So we need right now a striker who can not just score goals, because he may have to create chances as well. We need a player who's already Premier League proven, possibly, and is more involved by coming into the midfield and pushing forward at the same time. Something what Lacazette is doing, and that is why he has the success over Aubameyang in this season. So my best option or my first choice was, if Danny Ings is leaving Southampton, try to get him at Arsenal, because he has this habit of not performing at a big club. He didn't do it at Liverpool. So maybe if he comes to a club that is kind of struggling right now and where he becomes the star of the club or the team, I think Danny Ings could be a good choice. You can have an Ivan Toney as well, but I think he would be a backup. He would not be getting into the first team. You don't expect him to do big things immediately. But it also will depend on the fact whether both Lacazette and Aubameyang are staying or leaving. Now, Ivan Toney is 25 and Danny Ings is, I think, 29 or 30. So if, let me just confirm that, Danny Ings is, I think he's 29 if I'm not wrong. He's 28, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll check for you now. I'll check for you now.
He's 28, I just checked it.
What could be another good option? I feel like Richarlison wouldn't be that bad for Arsenal. I feel like he'd do a bit of a job.
I think we need more of a target man. He's Ryan mentioned Richarlison, but I think we need more of a target guy. I'll tell you why. Because the crosses that are coming in from Tierney's side are mostly aerial crosses. Like, he puts it on the head of the player, and we need someone who can actually like convert from quick fire crosses that are coming across the box. Even Pepe plays those looped crosses. Martinelli plays more of the looped crosses, but Tierney plays those quick fire, feisty crosses that he's putting across the box. So if we know Tierney is going to be our first choice left back right through the season, even though he has his injury problems, and Pepe is on one side, and maybe if Callum Chambers is going to be our first choice right back, or it is going to be probably if we get Max Aarons or someone else, we need to see what kind of crosses are going to be put into the box regularly. If it is going to be like say quick fire crosses, we need a target man, say like maybe Chris Wood, like a Chris Wood, or maybe we can Ole
Calvert-Lewin.
Watkins. Calvert-Lewin is a better choice. If you are going to play grounded football, then players like Richarlison can be a better shout. Danny Ings, the benefit of why I feel Danny Ings is the player is because he can play both headed goal. He can score both headed goals. He can play quick fire. You can say 1-2 football with the players. The third thing is he can also drop down into midfield and create more. So there are a few reasons why I would pick Danny Ings as my first choice. And I thought he or Callum Wilson were two of my choices to be the long-term replacement, like at least for 4 to 5 years, of Alexander Lacazette. But unfortunately, we didn't get Callum Wilson. Newcastle got a good buy and a good bargain there, but they couldn't do much with him because like at the end of the day, the team is struggling. But if Danny Ings is available for a free transfer, I would desperately want Arsenal to sign him without a doubt because he can bring a lot to our team.
Yeah. Like you can see he wants the ball all the time. When he gets the ball, he knows where the back of the net is on his day.
Yeah, and he'll be a good captain material as well and a leader. At least he'll be a leader, if not a captain material, but at least he'll be a leader in the team. He'll call out players. He'll say that, give me the ball, play with more intensity, because he is intense. And I don't mind that. And another player that I would target is if we have to get rid of the likes of so it's your dad here.
Yeah.
Yes, we know that he's only 10. We know he's only 10, and I said it to him that if he continues this way, he'll become a future maybe a commentator someday, an analyst and a commentator maybe someday. He's only 10. And I think if we are able to get a player like Danny Ings, and I think my other target will be Saint Maximin. And if Newcastle wants Joe Willock, give them Joe Willock, and hopefully get a discount or a good deal for Saint Maximin. Let's see if that happens. Mike, you had a point that you wanted to make, and we can have a discussion on that. Then, what was that point about?
Ryan said something earlier about Solskjaer and about Alex Telles, Luke Shaw, and it just triggered something else completely different. Well, not completely different, but to do with that, but in a different thing. And I'm not going to lie, like I said, I'm not going to discuss whether I'm Ollie in or Ollie out because A, nobody needs to know that, and B, because I've already said it a million times what my stance is on against Solskjaer. So anyone wants to go backtrack on my videos or anything like that, then you'll find out, but you're not going to get it from me unless something tragic happens for me to sway to the other way, and that's already give it away there. But anyway, I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a lot of sort of positives, but there's one negative that will, unless he sorts it out, and whether this is, down to Mike Phelan, Kieran McKenna, Michael Carrick, Darren Fletcher, anyone in and around him in terms of the coaching side of it, or in terms of even the mental and physical strain that he's put on the players. But I generally think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a 16-man squad, and that sounds ridiculous, but I only think he has a 16-man squad because we were 6-2 up against Roma. Yes, in hindsight they beat us 3-2, and it looked a lot closer than what it was at 8-5. And that, if you looked at that, you would have thought it was really close, but it really wasn't. We smashed them in the first leg, and they comfortably beat us in the second leg. So if in any normal circumstance you go 6-2 up in a European semi-final, you expect to win that game 99%. You're not expected to lose a 4-goal lead, as you say. So I think in that game there should have been rotation. We've got a big game tomorrow against Aston Villa. It's huge. Because then we've got because I know our next 2 Premier League games after that is Leicester and Liverpool. Now, say for example we beat Villa and then lose to Leicester and Liverpool, I don't think we'll lose to both of them. But if we did lose to both of them, then that could potentially drop us down to 3rd. and then the season doesn't look as strong as what it really has been. And I think Ollie is at fault for certain things he does. Substitutions are way too late for my liking. Giving Donny van de Beek. Well, I'm not going to call him his actual name because his actual name is Donny van de Bench. I'm not going to. How can you give Van de Beek 2 minutes and expect him to create something? You've got to have, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I don't know if both of you agree with me on this, but I think for a player to make a worthwhile impact, they've got to be on the pitch for at least 10-15 minutes to get to the grips of the game, get to the speed of the game, get into the style that you're implementing on that given day, to make an impact. I mean, 2 minutes, come on. It takes him 10 seconds to get on the pitch. So that's you're talking a minute and 50 seconds. And he brought Cavani on for 9 minutes against Leeds. I mean, it's worrying when he does that, when he does stupid things like that. But then on the positive side, when he goes to places like the Etihad and literally plays Pep Guardiola off the park. I mean, that's what a lot of Man United fans do get annoyed about. The fact that Ollie can draw 0-0 against a West Brom or a Sheffield United. They said Sunderland. Sorry, Sunderland fans. Crap. Sheffield United. But then he can go and play Man City off the park. Go and play Liverpool off the park. Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Paris Saint-Germain. Even. I mean, he's got his last 2 visits to Paris. He's won them both, which is unthought of with the quality of Neymar, Mbappe, Snake. Who else? Icardi, even Moise Keane has done well for PSG recently, and that's why a lot of people sort of sit on the fence with Ollie. It's the same thing with Arteta. I think Arteta in like a one-off given game, he can do really well. Like he outplayed Lampard, and you beat them 3-1 at the Emirates when he beat Chelsea. He absolutely annihilated Chelsea on that game. And then he went a few weeks later and lost to Southampton. It's weird. Yeah. It is. I mean, it shows how strong the Premier League is. Man City
just a couple
Premier
of
League
things. Good.
Man City are Premier League champions, and they've only taken 1 point off Leeds United, for example.
Yeah, I get the thing. I see one of the things about the whole situation is, I do not. One thing with respect to Manchester United that still amazes me is why they sacked Louis van Gaal. But that is a whole debate in itself, which we can have later on. The other thing with respect to Ollie is, one of the things that I will say is, if you had started off this season more positively or strongly, today you would have been in a serious title contention with City. But because you did not start strongly, and even they did not start strongly, eventually the gap is such that it's more or less done. But one win here or there, it could have been a serious title contention for Manchester United. The next thing is, I think in that Roma game, there was a lot of casualness because the players had already gone through. And I don't think he likes Van de Beek. I think Van de Beek is probably going to leave maybe at the end of the season, or he'll try to push for a move out. We would have been way better off if we had a player like Van de Beek. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole Van de Beek situation, or Van de Bench, sorry. The whole situation regarding him, I basically know what happened. Basically, this is what happened. Ollie went into the office to Woodward. Jack Grealish is thinking about leaving Villa at the end of the season. 80 million gets you Jack Grealish. Oh, what's that noise? 70-80 million gets you Jack Grealish. And if we get him, that's our sort of centre mid. Because I would have liked if Rob Grealish would have played. He would have played centre mid next to Paul Pogba with Fernandes in front of him, sort of winning the ball off the centre back and bringing the ball forward and pushing us forward. And Woodward was like, I could spend 80 million on Jack Grealish, who gets the job done, and then he could play at cam as well to rest Bruno. He could play it on the left to rest Rashford, or I could pay 40 million, which is half the price, and get Van de Beek. I mean, yes, Grealish is a better option, but Van de Beek is half the price. Oh yeah, we'll get Van de Beek. That's it, perfect. Every solution solved. And that's the problem at Man United. It's money before quality.
Yeah, and I also will just quickly go through one comment and then add my comment. Mike, I must say, Man United, apart from the second half in the first leg against Roma, were awful in that tie. I think he's talking about the entire tie.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree with that. I agree with that. Man United.
I would agree. I think the tie was killed in that second half of the first game, because the first half, I think Roma was leading 2-1, if I'm not wrong, after you took the lead.
Yeah, so if you think about it, this is the funny thing. The first half, if we're going to split it up into quarters, over the two legs, the first quarter, they won 2-1. The second quarter, we won 5-0. Third quarter, it was 1.
You had, I think, 2 goals.
1-0 Man United, and then and then the second quarter is 3-1. So if you look at it, technically Roma deserve, apart from you take that second leg out, and they beat us 5-3. So
I just want to say something. I want to go back to one of the things. Van de Beek.
5-2 actually. Sorry.
Van de Beek was only bought because they thought Pogba was going to leave.
I think it was a panic signing.
I think
panic buy to. Go ahead.
Yeah, panic signing.
It was a panic buy to hide the fact that they couldn't get Jadon Sancho because of the price tag
and Grealish.
I don't think I think they could have easily gotten Grealish, but Grealish didn't want to go to Manchester United. I get that feeling for some reason, because of the fact, see, if they were targeting Sancho and they had around 100 million to spend for Sancho, not the 120, 130 or 150 million, but around 100 million, they could have easily gotten Grealish. There was the only criteria for not getting Grealish would be unless Grealish would have said that I don't want to come to Manchester United, because United had already that kind of money with them, and that is the kind of offer they were making for Sancho. So the only sense it makes to go ahead.
Grealish could have been brought in to play in 2 positions, as the number 10, which you're not pushing Bruno Fernandes away from that number 10, or on that left wing, and you're not pushing Marcus Rashford away from that left wing. So Grealish might have said, well, if I come to Man United, you expect me to play in either a position that I don't want to play in, off the right or as a centre mid, or B, become a backup. I'm not leaving Aston Villa to come to Manchester United to become a backup, because for me, that's a backward step. Starting week in, week out, captain in Aston Villa, to be a backup at Man United, it's the same level for me. Or if not a downgrade.
That is what I also add to the part where I said Grealish didn't want to come to Manchester United. I'm not just saying that he doesn't like the club in that sense, but he wouldn't have gotten the assurance that he'll be playing every game week in and week out as the first choice. And forget about captaincy. I don't think he would be that worried about the captaincy if he's taking that kind of a step up. But I think he would have at least demanded that I must be playing every week. Otherwise, what's the point of you signing me? And I think that is where Manchester United has kind of disrespected Van de Beek a bit. And that is why his agent was also unhappy about the whole situation. Let me go to Ryan and ask him. Ryan, do you think
they went for the cheaper option?
But even if they went for a cheaper option, I think it's more to do with the first team play. Like, if you see, with respect to Grealish, as Mike said, Grealish would have wanted to play. With respect to Van de Beek, they don't care whether Van de Beek wants to play or not. Whether he plays or not, it doesn't matter to them at all.
When they bought Van de Beek, you don't think they said to him, you're going to sit on the bench all season? They must have said to him, you're going to play.
Yeah. And that is why the agent...
Van de Beek's first touch in a Man United shirt, he scored on the opening day against Palace. That tells you everything you need to know. When he plays, he performs. And for me, he's the third best midfielder at the club.
Its problem is Maguire's too slow, Lindelof's too slow. So they play Fred in front of him, then there's no place for Van de Beek. Where if they bought someone like Ndidi, they could play Van de Beek. So they need a bit of Fred. He's dreadful.
But the thing is, Man United always protect the slow centre backs.
And so look crap.
And I'll also add one more thing. I understand that Van de Beek is not really a proper winger, but how does Daniel James get into the team ahead of Van de Beek?
Daniel James, poor.
Yeah, that is the thing that I don't understand. How can Daniel James get into a team ahead of Van der Beek, who's not done anything really wrong, but because Solskjaer maybe didn't want him and he has him now, he doesn't play him. That is why I
Daniel
said
James,
he's kind of, yeah. Go ahead.
Daniel James gets in the man team because he plays two defensive midfielders as front of the back four, and he plays counter-attack football. Van der Beek, how good he is, cannot run in the wing. That's why Daniel James plays.
But
It's just not his fault.
hasn't Van der Beek also played as an attacking midfielder? So, but
Yeah, but
you're
he's not
trying to
going to
say,
take Fernandes
yeah.
out of this team.
Well, I think Solskjaer has experimented on a lot of things. I don't know whether I don't think he's played I think he played Van der Beek. I think at the start of the season when Mason Greenwood wasn't around. I think he played a few times on the wings as well, right? But I think that didn't work out great. So maybe that is why he didn't. He has changed it around completely. But at the end of the day, I feel eventually if they don't give Van der Beek time now, when the Premier League season is more or less done, he will probably look to move away at the end of the season. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
sure.
I think Van der Beek will have more game time next year if he stays.
Let's see if he actually stays. It will all depend because none of the clubs now have the money for Pogba. So Pogba isn't going anywhere, and he's improved as well. I think they will try to sell a few assets that they have. Like I think Jesse Lingard could be sold, and United will also try to make back some of the money. So Lingard could be one of the players sold. I think
Lingard will
some of them,
go.
yeah.
Phil Jones to Arsenal.
I think we have had enough torture with the likes of Mikel Silvestre in the past to now take Phil Jones as well. And Mike is saying Van der Beek needs to stay and Pogba wants to stay now. Exactly. Why will Pogba let go of the money when Juventus doesn't have money even to pay Ronaldo? So that is the big problem. And Van der Beek will be loaned with an option to buy.
No,
I guess so.
United need to buy a defensive midfielder. Then you can play Van der Beek. Who are you thinking,
Yeah.
Mike? Who can we get in? Defensive midfielder.
I think he's saying the rumor is 40 million plus Lingard for Declan Rice. But the problem is if your problems are the two slow center backs, I think if you get a better center back pairing as well, that could help you as well. Then you could say play the similar formation and like change it a bit with better center backs, and then your Fred problem is also solved because then you can shuffle the squad a bit around and have Van der Beek playing more regular football as well.
You play Eric Bailly.
Yeah, his injury problems are the main concern. I think otherwise he would have been in the team ahead of Lindelof. Definitely, I think Eric Bailly would be there, but because of his injury problems, I think he has lost out on a place in the main team. And Declan Rice, I think Declan Rice will be a battle between Chelsea and Manchester United because we don't fit into that battle unless it's a miraculous move that we try to make. But I don't think he'll come to Arsenal because we are not even in Europe now. Take the money and run with Jesse. Yes, I feel bad but football isn't about sympathy. It's about whether you are good enough, and we have outgrown Lingard. Exactly, and he's not interested in United. Like same, I think the situation is with Joe Willock for us, and we should just take whatever money we get and just move on. Rice is quality according to Cheddars as well.
Yeah, the question for Arsenal, mind going back to Arsenal, would you take Tammy Abraham?
I think we have enough striker problems to add another free one. I would rather take Giroud on a 1-year deal than take Tammy Abraham right now, because he has a.
I think Lacazette will go.
I think even if Lacazette is going, I don't mind him going if we are getting a couple of replacements. As I said, if we get the likes of a Danny Ings, I don't mind Lacazette going. But if you're going to put all the pressure on Aubameyang, who's out of form in a way, and if you're going to put all the pressure on a younger striker who'll come maybe like an Edward from Celtic, and expect them to start scoring immediately, or a Martinelli to start performing at the top level and start scoring goals, which a lot of Arsenal fans tend to do a lot, I don't think it's going to happen. So some of these fans need to relax, and they need to understand that Martinelli is still a kid. They wanted Martinelli to play from the start against Villarreal. I can understand that sentiment. But when he came on for the last 30 minutes, he could also not do much, even though he was full of energy and still running around. He couldn't impact the game.
Injury, Martinelli? Didn't he have a bad injury?
Yes, he does. He has those injury and fitness problems, because of which also the club and Arteta are a bit cautious with him. He's still only 20. He has around maybe 15 years of his career left, if he can plan it right.
If he wants the most trophies and he wants the best of careers, I think he's not going to achieve that much of that with Arsenal, and I think it would be better, I guess, for him if he just went, because it's not really going to be the best if he's stuck at Arsenal not winning trophies and not kicking his career off.
I don't mind if he's leaving Arsenal, but I want them to transform our system into a, you can say, like a Dortmund kind of system, where we sell some of our young players, not all of them, and then we bring in better players. So if you are getting like around, because Martinelli has, I think, 6 more years on his new contract left, at least. So if you are getting like, say, around 70-80 million for him from a club who thinks that he's a wonder kid and they want him in their squad, like maybe there was a point when Liverpool were eager to sign him. If you are selling him to a bigger club and making good money out of that deal, and I think then we can utilize that money in a good way to buy in some other players. See, last season, when I saw how injury prone Tierney was, I thought to myself, if Tierney wants to leave and we can get another good left back, I don't mind, because the problem is he's quality. Everyone can see his quality, but his problem is injuries. If this guy is not going to play around 30% of the games each season, we can't rely on him. So I would rather try to show him as the best left back in the league and then sell him off for, say, maybe around 60-70 odd million, and then buy a really good fit left back, and that helps our squad better, like United did. They thought that Luke Shaw is not performing, get in Alex Telles. Suddenly Luke Shaw is becoming one of their players of the season. And all you need is sometimes the right kind of push and the motivation, and look what can happen.
I know. Like he could barely ever score, and he went and scored versus Man City in such a big game. And he's been performing really well as well.
And look what Marcos Alonso did today. Even though he can't defend that well, look what he did today. He went and scored the goal against Manchester City, which cost them the game. Even though I know that there were some players missing and it wasn't the strongest team, but even I think Marcos Alonso in a way has turned a new leaf with respect to his time at Chelsea this season. He's not looked great, like he's not looked like the best left back in the world, but he looks better than what he was last season at least.
Yeah, like I thought he'd go last season. I really did think he would go, but they kept him, and he'll probably be gone soon. It's either this summer or next January, I feel.
If the problem is, I think they're losing Emerson as well. Has he already left? If I'm not wrong, I think he's about to go, and Emerson is about to go as well. So if they're about to lose Emerson, I think they will not get rid of Marcos Alonso at the same time as well, unless they sign some players.
Yeah, good point.
And quickly going through some of the comments as well, Cheddars was saying Rice is quality, and he will take Mike will take the money for Lingard, 30 million for Lingard. I don't mind taking Lingard at Arsenal as well if he can perform the way he's playing at West Ham. And since he came through the academy, the Glazers will love that. That's a fact. 30 million profit. Yes, and you need to remember he's also an English player, so he's a homegrown player that benefits other squads as well. Even if he's played as a squad player and eventually puts in good performances for us or West Ham, either club. I think West Ham will have serious thoughts about buying him because his price isn't too high. And if they sell Declan Rice, I think they will try to get 2 or 3 good cheap options. Lingard could be one. Pick up to Mike. Thank you for subscribing as well. And Lingard is like 20, whatever the pricing. I think he fits into the West Ham kind of budget right now. And West Ham will have maybe European football to offer him as well, because they are looking strong and going strong. And any money that you get will be exciting. Luke Shaw for me is the best left back in the league. this season.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead.
No one else has really been better than him this season, and he's actually been performing pretty well. I've been quite impressed with him this season. So I'd put him as a nominee, really, as best left back this season in the Prem. Hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, I think with the motivation, Tierney was looking good, but because of his injuries, we can't compare him right now in that category. And these injuries, he used to miss around 30% of his games every season at Celtic. So because of that, injury problem, he has dropped down the pecking order for that. And unfortunately, he can't be counted right now as the best in the league, even though his stats and numbers will say that he's good. But because of the fewer number of games due to injuries, he has been, and the fact that he started off the season as a left centre back. But I hope that he can recover and that changes next season. Let's see. But yeah, I think Luke Shaw is right now the best left back because Chilwell has been very poor at times as well. But look at the fact that the poor players may end up winning the Champions League this season if Chelsea beats Manchester City. And Mike is saying Glazers out, and before we start making profits, as it won't help the cause. I don't think you can do anything about that because the Glazers will not leave even before they may do one thing. If the Glazers today know that we want to leave the club, they may try to sell some of the big assets like a Pogba and some of the other players that may give them 30-40 odd million, make some profit out of the club, and then eventually leave. And if Glazers start making money, they'll say we are helping Man United grow. Exactly, which is terrible. Some fans will forget how badly they're running the club. See, I think every businessman has some tricks up his sleeve. I have my own brand which I'm working on, so I know how to turn things around when it's not working out for you. So I think Manchester United and the Glazers, the Cronkies for us, FSG turned it around with that Coutinho sale. They were lucky that Barcelona was so blinded by the Coutinho quality that they did not think twice before spending 140 million. But that destroyed Barca and it made Liverpool's 2 seasons. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, because I thought he was good. He was good to continue at Liverpool. He was performing every week, and he was doing really well. And that's why Barcelona wanted him, because he was putting performances in. But then it ended up being quite a flop because they didn't get the quality from Coutinho that they thought they'd get a better quality from him. That's the thing. They thought he had better quality, but they didn't. And then they're ending up loaning him out to Bayern, and then he's back and. He didn't do too bad at Bayern, in my opinion. I thought he did okay.
He didn't. And even when he came back to Barca now, he looked good. But again, it's not clicking that in that sense. Go ahead, Ran.
So yeah, he hasn't been the best at Barca. So I think Barca should look on selling him. And you know what? Imagine if he goes to Everton. Like, just imagine. Rumours.
Yeah. But his asking price will not be low, because when we wanted him on loan, Barca told us that you need to pay 10 million for him on a season-long loan. Arsenal fans have a lot of complaints about why Arsenal bought Willian when they could have gotten for like a Coutinho. Barcelona seriously asking 10 million for Coutinho on a season-long loan from Arsenal, who's not been in the Premier League for quite some time, who's not doing at Barca, who was at Bayern and did better to an extent, but Bayern had a good team which won the Champions League. Even if Coutinho didn't do too much, he would have still done something in that team. So 10 million for a player for one season on loan. Arsenal seriously not going to spend that money. They went for a Premier League proven Willian, whom Chelsea also wanted for 2 years, but he wanted 3, and it didn't work that well. And still, you need to remember this is Willian's first season. It could still change in the next season. Who knows? He could at least contribute more. Go ahead, Ryan.
I think he was bought to be a backup, really.
Yeah, I agree. And because the likes of Pepe and other players did not step up at the right time, he had to get into the team. And those stupid red cards didn't help as well. The way Pepe got himself sent off against Leeds, what can someone even say after that? And Mike is saying you'll have...
Wenger fan then, mate?
Go ahead.
Are you an Arsene Wenger fan?
Not towards. I was.
Martial. Do you know Martial plays Man United?
Yeah.
I think he'd been a world star under Arsene Wenger.
I think if during the time when we gave you Sanchez, if we had taken Martial instead, and if United had given us Martial at that point of time, Wenger would have probably survived this whole Wenger out era and the brigade and probably stayed at the club. Even though I was Wenger out from 2011, but I think if Anthony Martial would have signed for Arsenal at that point of time, he would have had a major role in Arsenal's. He could have turned things around for us. But the only concern is still till date his injury problems. Every time he has 3 or 4 good games, he'll go off injured and then come back after 4 or 5 games.
I just think Arsene Wenger would have got the better out of him. See, I think he's such a good player. He's just wasted. He doesn't know what he wants to be, a striker, a left winger. He's moody. He's happy.
I know. Bit up and down.
He had all the makings of being an Mbappe when he first came.
He did, and the way he started against Liverpool, scoring that goal was brilliant. But the problem is I think it's more to do with injuries, because what has happened is because he's getting injured. I think what Martial will do is if he goes to a place like Italy, like Lukaku, and the intensity of football is very slow, and he doesn't have those many injuries, I think he could be like a Lukaku, and he could revive and make his season like one of the best that he has ever had till now. That could happen as well.
I just think the club's too big for him personally. He's a big shout.
With the way he started, I don't think it's too big for him. I think it's more to do with you can understand when you are playing mentality. Well. Yeah.
Is his mentality. He just comes across lazy. I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, mate.
No, I was just saying what happens is, as a player, when someone plays football, you are playing very good football for 4 or 5 games. You're scoring in almost every game. Then you get injured. And if this keeps happening as a pattern, it frustrates you. Like every time you're playing well, like it happened in the last 2 to 3 seasons. I'm not saying this season. This season, Martial has been more or less off track. Because if you remember at the start of the season, Martial scored a few good goals. He played well for France as well. And then again, he suddenly got injured. It was not a serious injury, but again he lost track, and then he had to come back into the team, and then you have to start over again. So it's like going at 150 kilometers per hour on a bike, and suddenly you have to hit the brakes, and then you have to restart it, and it again takes a lot out of you when you restart it. So I think Martial has been going through a lot with respect to constant injuries, and when those constant injuries keep hitting you, that becomes a major problem in your progress, and that is what I think has hurt him more than just, like, it's not a Lingard kind of case. I think Lingard has that problem with the mentality of playing at Manchester United.
Lingard is family related, didn't he? That's weaning off the boil.
And Mike is back again, but quickly let me just finish off Mike's comments as well, so that about the Glazers out show, we'll definitely do that on 26th, and more comments. I think mate, you're filling the pockets. The players are filling. Martial would have been a World Cup winner if he didn't have Sanchez under Jose. He could have been picked in that team, but I think France is just too strong. So Martial is not coming like around into that squad because of the players that they have, unless his fitness is a major issue. He's been your favorite player since 2016, and you will regret selling him. I think even till last season, when the fans didn't turn their back on Martial, he recovered. If you saw the second half of the season, when Manchester United was playing good football, it also credit should be given because Martial was scoring a lot of goals in that second half of the season. Go ahead.
And I remember last season when when Man U played Sheffield United, they just thrashed them that day, and Martial got a hat trick, and he literally was just on fire that game.
See, I think Martial's better than Rashford.
Rashford just takes
that's bold.
Nah,
that's bold. That is very bold.
If you watch him play, Rashford, he's so off the boil. He'll cut inside. He'll always hit it towards the near post, 4 yards wide, most shots.
One thing I do say about Rashford.
Greenwood is 10 times as good as Rashford.
Pardon?
Greenwood. He's saying
is twice as good as Rashford.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Rashford, I think a lot of United fans get it mixed up and sort of don't really sort of cherish what Marcus Rashford is. He's not this number 9 that when Rooney burst on the scene, that hat trick against Fenerbahce in the Champions League. I know Rashford burst onto the scene when he first came in, but it's different with Greenwood. I mean, Mason Greenwood is literally something else. He's the best, one of the best youngsters I've ever seen come through the United Academy, and the thing that separates Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood. And I hate having this debate because I do it with Bruno and Pogba of who's better, and I hate the fact that United fans always comparing two United players because they're our players. Just cherish them for what they are. But because we're on the point,
Pogba and Bruno are different.
But because we're on the point, I'll just say it. But when Greenwood was on the brinks of the first team, he was scoring 40, 50 goals a season in the under-23s when he was like 17, 16. I mean, that's it. That's incredible. We've got a lot of youth academy prospects. I'm going to be doing a new show next season, like Academy Watch or something, because there's a lot of ballers at Man United. Charlie McNeil, Joe Hugill, Hannibal Medjbury, Shola Shoratai, who's already had his Premier League debut, Ahmad, and I'm just thinking, how are we going to fit all these players in? We've already seen, arguably, and I know this is bold again, but
even the guy in Nottingham Forest is good.
James Garner, he scored with Cardiff, and he's
got to go
I
out on
feel
loan
like he's a
again.
really good youngster.
He's got to go out on loan again for me.
Yeah, to a Premiership team.
And with Greenwood, with Greenwood, when he started against Cardiff in like the last game of the 18-19 season, when that season where Cardiff got relegated, where they beat Man U 2-0, Greenwood played really well, and I was wondering, we need to sign this guy before he gets overpowered. And what did he do? He got overpowered, and he's out of Cardiff's price range. So I wondered why Cardiff didn't want him. Like, he was such a good youngster, and he would have been a perfect loan before he got too overpowered and out of our range.
Coming back to Rashford, though, Mike, do you think he sacrifices himself for the team too much playing injured? He's going to end up like Michael Owen, washed up at 28, same as Rooney.
Personally, I don't think it's a Rashford problem. And you might agree with me, you might disagree with me, but for me, it's a debatable point which it could go either way. Marcus Rashford is, for me, apart from Bruno Fernandes, in Ollie's eyes, as the main man. Whether us fans agree, disagree, on the fence with that, in Ollie's eyes, he sees it as prior. We know the type of players that Ollie likes. He likes energy, he likes work rate, he likes passion. That's why McFred start week in, week out, which, for me, I'm not going to swear because I'm not on my channel. We don't do that on other people's channels. But for me, Fred is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. We saw the FA Cup game against Leicester. Fred on the half turn, he tries to play it to Maguire, and then people are blaming Maguire. How is it Maguire's fault?
He's in that back heel the other day, Fred.
And Fred, I mean, he's not Brazilian. I'm telling you that for free. He's not he's not Brazilian. He's from Stoke. He's not Brazilian, but that some of the things he tries to do, he's on. When we played West Ham, they had a midfield of Noble, Souček, and Rice, and he's trying to do bloody roulettes against Thomas Souček. And I think McFred, for me, like, I don't think, apart from Leeds at home when we beat them 6-2, they were phenomenal that day. I've always said criticism when needed, but also in response to that, praise when needed. Any player, you could be, the most hated player in my eyes. If you go out and perform, you deserve my praise. Whether I hate you, whether I like you, whether you're my favourite player. Like my favourite player is Anthony Martial, and it has been, like I said, since he signed. Yes, we've got Cavani, we've got Bruno, and I think they're phenomenal. But I still stand by Anthony Martial, and I just don't know why some people say stuff about Martial, like when he was. I can understand why people say he's lazy and he looks moody, but I mean, when he's doing a graveyard shift, when he's playing up front for Man United, he gets no service, and you're expecting him to run, track back all the time when he's meant to be the number 9. And Rashford gets in Martial's way a lot as well. I think it was you that said that Rashford cuts in way too often and he's taking the space away from whoever's up front, whether it's Cavani, Greenwood, Martial. And I think we need to tell Rashford, because for me, this is bold again. I'm all about bold statements. But for me, Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford is the best link-up play in the league. The recognition, I can't even say it. The understandings I will just use. The understanding that Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford have together is absolutely phenomenal. It's a give and go. Shaw will give it, Rashford will go, and Shaw will bomb on. And it's that understanding between those two. And I can see why Pogba's playing as a left winger, and I love him playing as a left wing because it gives him more creativity, gives him more of a stride, because he's got open run to run into. Where when he's playing in the middle, he's sort of limited to where he can go because he's got either Fred, Matic, or McTominay next to him, who are basically not allowed to go that far forward because they're so slow and they're so lethargic, and they're just the build-up play from that part of the midfield is slow, and then it's on Fernandes then. So for me, my ideal 11, and I know a lot of people probably have this debate, Henderson or De Gea. I'm sorry, you could be the most potential goalkeeper in the world. You are not pushing David De Gea away. I am really pissed off at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because David De Gea, for me, has kept us relevant for 6-7 years. Without David De Gea, I can think of 7-8 games without even going into them. I could literally name you 7 or 8 games that De Gea saved us. Roma on Thursday for one, and that was literally like a few days ago. There was another one, Arsenal at the Emirates a few seasons ago, Tottenham at Wembley a few seasons ago.
I had this debate in work, Mike. Is he playing De Gea in the Europa League because he knows he can win a cup?
Now, that is the point. That is the point. But I actually said that a few streams ago as well.
In the shop window.
I said this on Twitter, I think, or on a YouTube video, exactly what you just said. Is he playing David De Gea knowing that, giving Henderson the Premier League games, we're not in a position where it's... I know, we could still finish third. I think it's still mathematically possible we could finish fourth as well. I'm not too sure on that, but...
we're one game, I think. Well, we got to win.
Yeah, and, I don't trust us. I mean, it sounds stupid, but no, we will beat Villa. I'm doing a watch-along. I'm first United watch-along of the season. We're doing it. We're beating Villa. There's no other outcome happening. So he's playing. Henderson's going to start tomorrow. Me, you, and I, and everyone know that. Because I was at Old Trafford on Sunday when the United Liverpool team got brought out and Henderson was starting. So Henderson is the Premier League goalkeeper. But for me, I don't see how you can either A, let De Gea go in the summer, or B, push him to rotation. I've said this time after time after time. I don't hate Dean Henderson. I don't think Dean Henderson's crap. I don't have an agenda against Dean Henderson because I've been called out to having an agenda because of what I'm about to say. But for me, nobody in the Premier League, unless currently, nobody comes up to David De Gea and says, "Oh, hang on a minute, mate. Yes, you went to go and visit. You went to go and visit your newborn baby. So when you come back, you're the second choice goalkeeper." I mean, that is just rude. That is just utter rude. Imagine one of you sat here watching that right now, and you got a call from, your partner who lives over in Spain, Portugal, for example, and says, "Look, babe, I'm having a baby. You go over there, to go and see your kid or see your girl or boy. You come back and your job is gone." Essentially, that's what's happened. Football is a job. You've come back and your job is gone. Your manager has said to you when you've come back, "Oh, by the way, because you went to go and see your kid, Dean Henderson obviously had to play those games because you weren't here, but he didn't play fantastically well in those games, Henderson, those 5-6 games. And when you're back, by the way, after going to see your kid and your wife, you're no longer the first choice." It's pathetic. It really is. And that's one thing.
If someone said that to me, I'd say, if you're going to treat me like that, when I've had to go and see her when she's had a baby, because that's important. That you gotta see her, yeah. And when and if people are gonna be if I was to hear and they're treating me like that, and they're saying I can't, and I've lost my spot just because I've gone to Spain to see my wife, it's an utter disgrace why you've treated me that way. If you're gonna keep treating me that way and you've just dropped me like that, then I want to leave.
Because remember that I don't know if any of you watched that Man United Burnley game, but Dean Henderson is so liable and he comes out way too early. It's risky. Yes, we got away with it for the offside goal, but they scored.
I think he was kind of nervous as well initially.
Pardon?
Yeah, Cheddars. That was a great save.
He had nervy feet when he started off at United, and Cheddars is adding you can't beat informed David Dyer.
I know.
And that save against Chelsea free kick was the best.
No, it was Everton. It was Everton, wasn't it? The one.
No, Mata took the free kick when he was in his Chelsea days.
Yeah.
Remember, Mata took it.
I'm thinking of the Everton one when Oviedo hit it.
That was a beautiful save.
And then he pushed. Yeah, no. Oviedo hit it first of all. He pushed it out, and then Baines hit on the half volley, and he tipped it over with his right hand. Oh, David De Gea.
I really want to do reaction videos. I'll probably try to figure that out soon, so we can do some of his best save reaction videos as well. That would be fun to do. I want to.
You won't have enough time, mate. You won't have enough time. You'll have to do a 24-hour stream.
I don't mind. That gets a lot of watch time then.
yeah. Let's do it. I mean, I'm doing a 24-hour stream next season, so hopefully that goes well.
And with respect to I think for somewhere United did not think that David's form would return, like he would be back to his best form, because he was going downhill with respect to his form. And Henderson is the long-term project, 24 right now, and David is 30. So I think they had plans of getting rid of him and cashing in on him, maybe to sell him to PSG or some of the other clubs that are in dire need of a goalkeeper, and maybe send him back to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
so that was. Yeah, go ahead.
If De Gea goes to another team, I'm sorry, I won't be able to watch that team. If they play United, I just won't be able to watch it, because I know I'm De Gea FC, and as much as Henderson improves, and this is bold. Say Henderson plays the last 5 games of the Premier League and keeps 5 clean sheets, I'm still De Gea FC. I'm sorry, but
you can't be De Gea.
That is one thing. Just one thing. That is why what they're trying to do is play him in the final, hope that Manchester United wins the Europa League final, David Dyer wins the title, and he leaves on a high. The fans will be like, okay, he left with a European trophy in this last season.
I get that.
Henderson, he signed that contract. They said you're definitely going to play 15 games this season in the Premier League.
I will say that. I'll say this right now, and I'll say it at the end of the season. If you're going to sell one of them, get rid of Henderson. I don't care if he's the future. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
But
if he's going to have that ego, send him to Arsenal. We'll have Leno as a backup.
We'll take him. We'll take him. We'll take Henderson.
Let's do a Mkhitaryan Sanchez version 2 swap. Henderson for Leno.
I'm telling you, we would take Henderson. I'll tell you why. Leno's main problem is his distribution, and the pressure would be less on Henderson at Arsenal this season, because we're not playing Europa or Champions League football as well. So he would be under less pressure, and we have Matt Ryan who's going to be competing with him, which is like saying that you can say Henderson is slightly better than Ryan, but Ryan can also produce some good saves on his day. So in that sense, I think it will be a more even competition, because right now I don't think Matt Ryan will get ahead of Leno unless Leno makes mistakes like he made against Everton.
For me, go on.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Arsenal had links with David Marshall, the Cardiff keeper? Because he made some fantastic saves that season. David Marshall, he's got to be the best goalkeeper Cardiff have had in blimmin' years, because he made saves that no one else could. Joe Day, just get back to Newport.
Don't want him.
Don't want him.
I will keep.
Go back to Wimbledon. Go back to Bristol Rovers. There you go, or Swindon, whatever, because Swindon wanted you. But David Marshall was incredible for Cardiff. He saved penalties. He did you know when he was playing for Celtic, he saved a penalty in the Champions League versus Barcelona. He saved a penalty when he was young for Celtic against
19.
Ronaldinho. When he was about 19, he saved a penalty from Ronaldinho in the Champions League for Celtic.
Talking about goalkeepers, right? I know it's. I'm turning into a bloody De Gea fan club here. But my preferred situation. I don't know if United fans agree with this, or even from an outside perspective as an Arsenal fan, think we should go down this route. But if we were to sell one of them, yes, the long-term aim would be you'd be stupid to keep De Gea and sell Henderson in terms of a profit margin, in terms of PR and bullshit like that. Sorry for swearing, but for the Glazers' point of view, because the Glazers would want the younger goalkeeper to grow him and then get bigger value on him because he come through the youth, or we brought him when he was very, very young. However, if we keep De Gea, that's the less of a buyout, because if we get rid of him, no one's paying 350 grand a week, no one's paying 40-50 million for him, so we'll have to pay a percentage of that fee anyway. So keep De Gea, sell Henderson, and bring in someone like a Sam Johnston, or an upper, maybe even a Ben Foster, for Christ's sake, someone who knows.
Cycling GK.
yeah. Get his YouTube channel popping at Old Trafford.
GoPro wins the Premier League.
But the problem,
someone that will accept second place, because De Gea and Henderson, let's face it, in my personal opinion, Henderson is England's number one, and De Gea is Spain's number
Mike,
one.
You keep De Gea, you sell Henderson, Arsenal, Spurs will buy him 30 million.
And you promote Matty Kovac
as the backup. You have Joe Pereira as the backup.
Yeah, Joe Pereira, Joe Pereira.
It doesn't cause a problem, man. It doesn't cause a problem.
And in that sense as well, you lose, because what's Henderson on? He's on 180, isn't he? 180, 190, if I'm correct. So you lose, you save 190k. But then again, the Glazers are going to be thinking in their American yacht, oh, look at that, 190k saved. Then we'll go and sign someone for 20 million who's on 80 grand a week. There we are, 110,000 a week, but 110,000 pound a week pocketed for us. Yay!
But we would be out of that race because Leno's wages are around 93,000 pounds a week. Sorry, and if you have to jump to a 190, I don't think Arsenal will do it.
That's cheap.
Wow, we don't pay as much as United does, so the salaries are huge. I think David Dyer earns around how much? 250k or 300k.
Who? De Gea.
Yeah, De Gea.
He's on 350.
You know what?
50k a week.
Arsenal, Aguero. That wouldn't be too bad.
I agree with that. If Arsenal, and this is no disrespect to any Arsenal fans, if Arsenal were a big club, they would say to Sergio, "Come on, Man City of." Oh, I hate to say it because apart from that one moment, which I'm not going to talk about. Apart from that moment,
I know which one. I know the header in the last minute against QPR.
Yes. And if Joey Barton would have actually done something properly, well, I'm not going to get into it because that's bloody 9 years ago, and people are definitely going to call me salty for that. I still am salty, but who cares? Apart from that moment, Sergio Aguero was Man City's best ever player of the past 10, 15 years. You could argue like David Silva, De Bruyne, but for me, Aguero all ends up. And if Arsenal allow him to go to another club, not that it's in their hands because it's not, but they should act as a big club and say, look, Sergio, you've run your time at Man City, proven goal scorer, one of the best strikers the Premier League's ever seen, bagged over 200 odd goals. Come to Arsenal, try and chase that Alan Shearer record, and also potentially push us into the Champions League. Because if you say to Sergio Aguero, you get to stay in the Premier League, potentially beat Alan Shearer's record, or go to Barcelona, where yes, I know he likes that area, South American sort of Spanish sort of league,
and Barca will be desperate to sign him so that they can try to keep Messi also.
Yeah, because if you say, because they're best mates as well, they went to each other's weddings, didn't they? So if you say to Messi, look, we're signing Sergio Aguero, Messi's like, yeah, sorry, Pep, I'm not coming to see you. But for me, it's
Pep doesn't need him anyways.
Yeah, Pep. I mean, Pep doesn't need anyone. Pep could probably win the league with bloody Watford. Pep is literally a magician. But for me, I mean, this summer is probably the biggest summer in terms of everything, because last summer, was the COVID struck. You know, we saw the highest transfer fee of 70 million, which was unheard of in football. And I think I was Arthur to Barcelona, I think. No, to Juve, sorry. And Pjanic went to Barca. That was like a few million ahead of Havertz. And it's just crazy how, you know, this season the links are like 80, 90, 100 million for players. I mean, Haaland is going to Man City. I mean, if someone doesn't, if someone can't see that, I don't know what you're looking through. But for me, Haaland is a dead cert to go to Man City. And if anyone wants to clip this, they can, because if he doesn't go there, then happy days for us.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
Look at Man City though. Look, 17-18, they lost the Yaya Toure. 18-19, they lost Company. 19-20, David Silva. Now 2021, it's Aguero.
It's all their legends. That's all their legends. Man City got no other legends. They were only born 10 years ago. Again, salty, yeah, whatever. Who cares? That is true. Man City were born in 2008, not 1968, as people say. But there we are.
Look how much legends they're affording to let go, that have put all that passion in there for that club.
You'll make me laugh.
No, I think, but they're in safe hands with the likes of Phil Foden being there,
I know.
Now Ruben Diaz coming in. They've signed some very good players. Edison is there, I think.
Did you see what Man City put though? Because obviously Man United have the Trinity statue of Charlton, Best and Law. They said, "Can we have one of Company, Silva and Aguero?" I was in stitches. In stitches.
In 2021, it's going to be Aguero, and I guess you can put
Fernandinho will be next season. Yeah, Fernandinho will be next season. As much as I hate City, there's one player I would love in the Man United team, even if he was 44, and that's Fernandinho. He's an absolute tank of a CDM. And
he's an actual Brazilian. Yeah. Unlike Fred.
Fred's a Stoke Brazilian, but no, Fernandinho's a Rio de Janeiro Brazilian. He's the one that's playing beach. Yeah, he could pass. I mean, even on my Man United career mode, Fred can't pass. It must be coded.
But Mike, I dare you. You're not. I don't. Not really dare, but I bet you should buy Fernandinho on your career mode, even though you signed Herrera. Go and sign Fernandinho.
No, I can't anyway, because
Fred. Ditch McTominay and Fred and get Fernandinho.
I can't, because the negotiation thing won't let you buy players from rival teams. Yeah. So I couldn't, even if I wanted to.
Are you playing FIFA, Mike?
Pardon?
Are you playing FIFA? The ultimate cheat. Play Pogba up front.
Oh, I don't play Ultimate Team. After last FIFA, I broke 3 controllers.
Play Pogba up front. He's amazing.
I broke 3 controllers last FIFA. No thanks. I hate Ultimate Team. I hate Ultimate Team. I mean, I won in. This is talking bloody years ago. On FIFA 13 or 14, I won Division 1 with a full Kenty team. So that was before everyone.
I have full Cardiff squads, and everyone. I save all my money on FIFA to buy all the Cardiff players.
I talking of Ultimate Team, actually, right? This is mental. I had 35k in my Ultimate Team account the other day. Opened 2 packs. The second pack in for Mickey Demetrio. What's the chances of that?
No.
I was buzzing.
I remember playing FIFA with the I think it is a Scottish team called Dundee United. I played 5 years with them. I don't remember many of the players now, but I think that I don't
Charlie
remember
Adam.
which players. I think I had Charlie Adam at that point of time, and which FIFA it was, I don't remember, because since
No,
I've started.
Charlie Adam
Yeah.
recently just joined them.
Oh, he joined them recently. Then he wouldn't be there, obviously. But I don't remember most of the players. But the thing was that it was good to see like a small club going up. I don't think they have done that great, and I don't think they're even right now doing that great.
I think they might be in the Championship, in the Scottish Championship. I'm not too sure actually. Or if they're not in the Scottish Championship, they might be towards the bottom of the Premier League. But I just love FIFA. Like I'm doing I'm not doing it on YouTube or anything, but I'm doing a Youth Academy series with Harrogate from League 2, English League 2, and
interesting.
And like is good to see like the stories. Like I had this Youth Academy scout, first Youth Academy scout, and his potential was 91 to 94. I was like, yes, please. Welsh left back, 67 rated at 16. Yes, fine. Yes, please. Why can't United do scouting like that?
I did a Bolton career mode on FIFA 20, and I was looking through the free agents list, and there was a 16-year-old, and his name was Pendant. He's not even a real player, and I signed him. He was French, and after a few seasons, I was in the Championship with Bolton. I got him promoted. After a few seasons, he's an 83 rated player in the Championship.
Right. Talking. I could talk all day about my FIFA saves, but I just want to ask Nitish one thing about Arsenal. I've been dying to say it, and I've been trying to word it all night for this 2-hour show, and I finally found the best way to word it. If going into next season, providing Arteta stays, if they give you 100, if the Kroenke said you have 100 million to spend, providing you could sell certain players to boost those finances up to like 150, maybe 200, where do you think Arsenal's most key improvements are needed, and who do you think are realistic targets? Like, we're not talking FIFA go and sign Declan Rice for 80 million, like, because Rice would probably go for 100 in my opinion. But anyway, who would you think Arsenal need to sign, and who do you think you could sign, like in terms of realistic signings, not like like I said.
Now, I think first of all, I think if Kroenke is put in 100 million, we'll have
everyone
around
faints.
Not just that, but I think then we'll have around 250 million in total, because I think I mentioned 5 players that will possibly be gone, and I just counted each to be valued at 20 million. I said Nelson, Niles, Eddie Nketiah, who else? Torreira and Joe Willock. If all of them are gone at 20 million each.
I forgot about Torreira. I love him. I do. Lucas Torreira.
Yeah.
Forgot
so I
about
said if all of them go ahead.
Would you take my Manu, Mike?
Oh no! I wouldn't. I think it's a backward step. That it's clear and obvious who I want. CDM, Wilfred Ndidi, Declan Rice, or Dennis Zakaria, and centre back. I want centre back. I either want Pau Torres, Jules Koundé, or Rafael Varane. But carry on, Nitish.
Yeah, I was saying that if these 5 players are sold, we stand for 20 million each. We should get 100 million there. I'm just counting minimum 20 million each. We should get at least 100 million there. And as you said, if the Kroenkes are putting in, they're putting in another 100, so that would make it 200. And I've not counted the likes of Leno leaving, because if a lot of people like the rumors are that Leno is going, so I'm not counting that money coming in. Bellerin going, I'm not counting him as well. Kolasinac could be sold, so there are 3 or 4 other players who could also be going. Lacazette, as some say. So let's not get into those, but let's consider that if Kroenkes are putting in 100 and we have 100 coming from player sales total, because we don't sell all our players. So even if we're getting 200 million, I think the first thing that we need is a Jack Grealish, but I don't know if he'll come now or not, because we don't have Europe. The reason I say that is because we need a leader. We need someone who's a captain and a leader in that team. Jack Grealish will be my number one choice. I think he'll go for around 80 odd million, if not more, but I would try to restrict it to around 80 odd million. The next thing is, if I want to sign someone, I would sign probably, as I said, a striker. If I need, I would go for Danny Ings. If Lacazette is going, then definitely Danny Ings needs to come in. And
Ings could be about 30 million as well. So that's 110.
I think may leave on as a free agent. I think that was the story going around.
Danny Rose's Danny Rose, bloody hell! Don't sign Danny Rose. He's an absolute
I know.
shambles. Danny Ings. Yeah, that's it. Ings, not Rose. Is his contract expiring, is it?
I think there was some discrepancy with the contract between Southampton and Danny Ings.
I didn't know this. I know he's not a big name, but
Yes.
Nathan Redmond is leaving Southampton in the summer.
Is he?
I don't think he can do much. What I would say is, if you're selling Joe Willock to Newcastle, try to get a swap deal done for Saint Maximin.
I'll
With
tell
them.
you something.
He's not leaving.
I'm
He is
sure.
not leaving, personally.
I'm sure Nathan
If you put-
Redmond.
Yeah,
I'm sure Nathan Redmond used to play for Norwich. Correct
he
me
did.
if I'm wrong.
yeah, he did.
He should go back to Norwich. And
Wouldn't be
I
a
just
bad
want to
shout.
say something. I just want to say something. There's a new day in the UK. It's now Sunday in the UK. I just thought I'd announce that. So, confetti.
It's almost
Yay.
5 a.m. here, so the new day already
Ooh.
came long ago.
Ooh.
But what I
Respect.
was trying to add was that Redmond might go to Norwich and we can get Buendia as well. So and
Wendy is an absolute. He's phenomenal. He's
No.
generally unbelievable.
Ooh, I
and if he clicks, he could be the Bruno SK player that we need. I'm not saying he'll be a Bruno, but he can make that impact for us.
Yeah,
he
I think
dominated Cardiff. He dominated Cardiff, and he even scored a screamer.
I think when we were talking earlier, we sort of brought this point on about Arsenal needing. Oh bloody! I'll turn my camera on then. Arsenal needing a Bruno Fernandes type figure. The thing is, Arsenal are not at United's level at the moment. No disrespect, at this current moment in time.
That's a fact.
So
Yeah.
So your version of a Bruno Fernandes could be a Buendia, could be a Jack Grealish, but I'm not saying they're miles behind Bruno Fernandes, because they're not. Jack Grealish he's not on Fernandes' level, neither is Buendia, but they're close to it, and with the right people around them. Because I think Bruno is. Yes,
I would
Bruno
just disagree on
his
one
own.
small thing. I think Grealish and Bruno are at a similar level, very same.
I mean, personally, this is non-biased. I think Grealish is a left winger, in my opinion, and people can say whether they agree or disagree. But I personally see Grealish as a winger. I think he's like Juan Mata. He's like a quick version of Juan Mata.
I'm not saying the same position, but level.
Oh,
level wise,
level.
I'm saying.
I think it's so tight. Personally, I think. I mean, we don't know, because if Grealish is in this United team, is he doing the same? Well, of course, Bruno's doing the same at Villa. But the interesting thing to see, could Grealish make the step up? People are saying he's a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong, he's absolutely phenomenal, Jack Grealish. But there's always that date. You said it about Ivan Toney as well. I think you said making that step up can sometimes falter a player. Like if Ivan Toney went to Arsenal, he could either turn out to be an Ollie Watkins, come into the Premier League and blitz it, or he could turn out to be like a Charlie Austin type player whose quality in the Championship doesn't quite make, or a Dwight Gale, for example, just doesn't quite make the Premier League standard. Because there's a lot of players, Che Adams as well, I think brings to mind.
I get the feeling.
For West Brom in the Championship.
I get the feeling if Lacazette is going, then we can get one like a Danny Ings, and another can be one like an Ollie Watkins, or maybe an expensive striker, or maybe even an Ivan Toney can come in. Like Danny Ings, Ivan Toney, Aubameyang. Then with respect to midfield, as you said, probably the price, let's not get into the exact pricing, but it will be more or less same. If we're getting a Grealish, I don't think we'll get a Buendia, because we have Emil Smith-Rowe then, and Emil Smith-Rowe will play. Probably we may get rid of a Pepe and get in a Grealish, and we'll add one more maybe midfielder who will be okay. Could be a Buendia if we get rid of Pepe. So it all depends on the sales. If we have a Pepe, we may get a Grealish, we may not get a Buendia, and we may play Emil Smith-Rowe and probably try to get Odegaard in as well. Because what will also Grealish coming into Arsenal do? It will boost the morale of an Emil Smith-Rowe. It will boost the morale of a Bukayo Saka, and that will improve. Yeah,
Jack Grealish is gonna come into that team, and what's the word? I can't think.
Energize them.
No, the word's gonna come to me. He's oh my god, he's like a maestro, and he's sort of like, he will galvanize the team. He'll basically stamp his authority.
He'll be a catalyst in that sense.
Yes, that's it. And in no disrespect to any of Arsenal's players, because I do like a few Arsenal. That sounds rude saying I like a few. I do like a decent amount of Arsenal players, but I think out of your strongest 11, if Jack Grealish walks into that team, he's probably the third, fourth best player in the team. Oh no, second or third. I think people are so disrespecting.
Not even
Aubameyang.
second. I think he would be maybe our best player then, based on Aubameyang's current form.
I think people are really disrespecting Aubameyang. I mean, yes, he's been poor this season, but
no, I'm saying based on his current form. I think current form. He would be our best player.
Yeah, Grealish walks into that team. I mean, the funny thing is, like, to always test how good a player is, I always go through the table and see where he would fit. So, would he fit into a Man City team, Grealish? Absolutely, of course he would. Pep would force him into the team. Would he fit at United? Absolutely. Would he fit at Chelsea? I'm not too sure. I don't think he would. I don't think he would suit the Chelsea style of play under Tuchel. Under Lampard, any day. Under Tuchel, not really. Yeah. Leicester, I don't think he would. Brendan Rodgers doesn't like that style of play. And then you look at Tottenham. He was linked there a few seasons ago, wasn't he, to Tottenham? And I think if he would have went there, he would have killed his career. Because under Pochettino, it was towards the end. It was you knew it was coming to an end. Pochettino's reign. You could just, after that Champions League final against Liverpool, that was their chance for a trophy. And under Poch, and you just knew, because when he left, they were 15th that following season.
And one thing I'll just add: if Grealish comes and he goes into the left wing, he will be like taking that charge, and Lacazette can then be sold in a way, because Aubameyang will play center and Martinelli will also play center. So that frees Lacazette as well if you want to sell him, or we can try to sell Aubameyang as well. And Saka will be on the right,
and
Pepe
Saka
will be
and Pepe will be sort of used on the right. Willian can go. Is Willian on a 1-year contract or 2?
No, 3 year. 3.
3.
Oh, 3.
How was he got his way into that?
No, we got him because we offered him a 3-year deal. Otherwise, Chelsea were ready to offer him 2 years.
He should have just stayed at Chelsea.
He took a pay cut as well to come to Arsenal.
Oh, because my phone's on 6% and I'm gonna play some FIFA in a minute. I'm gonna have to let you go in a minute. But this is one question to both of you, and this is something I feel sorry for because I love the player. Do you think Eden Hazard has ruined his career by going to Real Madrid?
Before we go into that, just one statement I want to make. If we don't get Grealish, I would like to take a player like Harvey Barnes at Arsenal. I would like to go for him.
Harvey Barnes, what a player!
So I would, because Grealish is now at a level where he won't move. Ideally, I wouldn't mind trying to go for a Harvey Barnes and trying to make a similar impact, but he won't be a leader. Then we need to have someone who's a leader. Let's go to the Hazard question. Let's start with Ryan. Ryan, do you think he's ruined his career going back to Real Madrid?
Well, it was just a dream move, and after those injuries, like I said in previous videos, it was just for the dream move, and then he's had injuries and he's ruined his career. And I think if he looked a bit bored at Chelsea though. It was time for him to move on though. It was his time to move on, but it was for him the bad move, the dream move.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a very bad move, and the thing is that when a move works out, you say okay, everything worked out. When it doesn't work out, you start criticizing why did he have to do it in the first place. So I don't think he's gone there to actually have a party or a ball in Madrid. He's gone there because he loves Madrid and he wants to play at the top level and the best that he can. Unfortunately, because of whatever reason and some of the things that are not working his way, and maybe he's not able to gel into the team yet. You need to remember it is also his first season there. So because of the injuries and everything that is related to him, I think he's not able to do it this season. Even Zidane did not criticize him because of the same reason. Because Zidane also knows that the guy hasn't played too much football. And in that game against Chelsea, he was trying his bit, but he was not fit enough. And it could be seen. But then Zidane doesn't have too many great options who are better than Hazard in terms of stature and in terms of what quality they can produce. So he tried, it didn't work out. And when it doesn't work out, something doesn't work out, people start criticizing. The same thing, you can take the best example is of Arteta. When he won the title, the FA Cup title last season, the trophy, they were like, okay, this guy can do it. Now, because the second season, he's not able to do it, they are now like, this was always going to be a bad option. We should have never signed him in the first place. They don't realize that the likes of Pochettino, who was like forever at Tottenham, went to a UEFA Champions League final, but couldn't even win a single title, not even the League Cup. Forget
He doesn't
about
win
any.
trophies.
He doesn't win trophies. He bottled the Champions League again this season, and with a good PSG side, which is way better than Spurs, I feel he still couldn't do it. And if he doesn't win a title for the next 5 or 6 years, and even probably bottles the league maybe next year again, he'll probably be sacked from PSG as well. So what was the point of having a great manager that some are saying he's a much better manager than Arteta, who doesn't even give you a single title in 5 or 6 years? Rather, you have a manager who has his problems, who's growing on the job, and he's learning a few things while working. But you know that maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, this manager can get you something big. And he's already shown that he can get a cup, like an FA Cup. If he gets the Europa League in the next 2 years that he has his contract, extend it. If he doesn't, let him go.
Yeah.
I know.
So I think let's not get into the Arteta side of things. I think Eden Hazard, if next season he can't perform, it's been a total fail. If next season he steps up, anything can happen. And one more thing, the next game that they have, I think that is tomorrow. That is one of their most crucial games. If Hazard is playing and he can deliver tomorrow, I think all will be forgotten, because then they become favorites to win the La Liga title. If they mess up tomorrow's game, then I think he won't be forgiven.
He won't play. He won't play because he didn't show passion in the last game. He won't play.
Personally,
go ahead. No, I was just saying Zidane doesn't think he didn't show passion. Zidane did not criticize him in the post-match presser.
He said he's tired, didn't he? He said it's a tight schedule and he's tired. Well, of course he's going to be tired. He's just been bloody injured all season.
Exactly.
But for Hazard, I think, the wrong move was going to Chelsea in 2012, but I think he should have gone to United. But,
Yeah.
He won't agree, but great.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, I think Hazard, the move he done was phenomenal. Arguably the best player in the Premier League at that time, and miles ahead of anyone else, to be honest with you. If we're going to talk about that Premier League Hall of Fame that's coming out soon, he has to be in there. I'm sorry.
That will take at least maybe around 10 years for him to reach there, because they have a lot of players from the past which they haven't gone.
Yeah. He has to retire first, don't he? But what I'm trying to say is, like, when he's eligible to be in there, he's got to be one of the first names of the current era. Sorry, should have made that clear. But for me, that move was a good for his family, better contract, sunnier place. Who wants to stay in London when you can go to Madrid? Better team. Madrid are better than Chelsea. Even
bigger
though,
team, not better, bigger team.
Yeah, bigger and better. Champions League.
You won't say that if they win the Champions League.
I hate Chelsea as it is, but I'll be cheering them on against City 100%.
But I just want to add one more thing. I think the main problem is, I think, you know what happened. Hazard, when he left Chelsea, he thought that Chelsea is going down, and he thought that Real Madrid are like doing well under Zidane. So he said that he thought that probably they'll do well and Chelsea will go down. I think his phone went off, and he thought that Chelsea will continue to go down, and Real Madrid is probably going to be top contenders again for the Champions League because Zidane is there. But what has happened is suddenly they sacked Lampard and got in Tuchel, and now Chelsea have gone back up immediately. So that is one more thing that has happened, and he wanted it to be a move of his dreams, but unfortunately, dreams can turn into nightmares within instances. I think, Ryan, let's wrap it up. We've already gone for around 2.5 hours. I was supposed to do this for an hour, and it's almost 5 a.m. here now. So big up to everyone who has joined in the chat. Ryan, before we wrap it up, big up to Mike as well. No worries, Mike, I can understand your phone thing. So check out Mike Green's channel as well. We'll probably do more shows on his channel and my channel, and because I think he can talk for hours. As he was saying, he's doing a 24-hour stream hopefully next month onwards. I think I'm going to do around 4 of those each month, 3 or 4 of those, or maybe 5 of those each month once the monetization starts, because once something starts making money, I don't feel like stopping after that. So big up to him as well. And Ryan, just give a shout out to your channel, and what is the status of your subscriber battle right now?
So I You can find me on YouTube only on that Cardiff City fan. I'm in a subscriber battle with except Sam first to 100. I will be doing a shout out soon because I recently hit 70 subscribers, so that is very special. And I actually got 73 now, so I'm about what's that 27 away. So any help to that could be appreciated. If you do sub to me, I will sub to you back, and you will get a shout out. So yeah.
And how far ahead are you of him?
I think he's on 60. Yeah, he's on 61. I'm on 73. So I'm 12 in front of him. So,
Nice.
yeah.
And you are on 74 now. So that makes it 13.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Every time you come on here for a new show, you probably end up getting at least 1 or 2 new subscribers. So big up to Mike as well. And thank you once again for coming on as well. And Ryan, good job. We had to do that Cardiff City transfer one. Probably we can do it maybe, let's see, today or tomorrow. We need to do it. We need to do it. So that one will be all you, because I don't have that much knowledge about the players. I'll be able to give. Yeah.
I gotta go to school on Monday, so we couldn't be up that late.
Okay. So you have to go to school on Monday. Okay, you're better now. That means that's good. You're feeling better now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do it early. That's not a problem, because there must be some games as well. So we can do it kind of early. And let's see what happens. So big up to all you guys in the chat. A lot of people. I'll just give a quick shout out. Cheddar's, your dad was also there. Gaza's Mudge.
Yeah.
And that's a funny name. And who else? Simpy, big up Simpy. Relentless, do check out his channel as well, the Relentless Sports Hub. Apart from that, Miss Melina was there. You were there. Rich Sports. Check out his channel as well, Rich Sports. Strip Bear was there, the adorable bear. Check out Luca's channel as well. This is Luca's life. He's almost on. How many was he on? He just mentioned he's almost on the verge of 900. And Harvey's channel as well, United Daily Transfer News. He's also a young budding footballer, and he was in the Leeds United Academy. And I don't know now. I think he's left Leeds Academy. There was one last person I could see here. I ate the juice box. Next time, try putting a straw in and drinking. So big up to all you guys. so big up to all you guys.
Juice box. I ate the juice box. What are those legs as well? What are those legs?
I think they are
chicken legs.
No, chicken legs. There could be chicken legs.
Ostrich.
No. It has to be maybe chicken. Maybe something else. I don't even know. And Mike is 21 from 1K. He's buzzing. He just needs 21 more. I think that will happen soon. I think today some of the other guys, the subscribers were a bit inactive, but once they get going, I think they will also get. They will also subscribe to the channel, and hopefully all the people who watch the video and playback do subscribe. As I said, with June coming in, I think someone Ryan, if you get that, okay, but you're not on social media. Okay, anyways, what I was saying is, guys, if you get a chance, do watch this video and subscribe to the channels that I mentioned. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, that's great. Big up to all you guys. Thank you for your support. We'll be hitting off monetization. I'm on around 2,700, almost 2,000, reaching 2,700 now. So yeah, Ryan is still laughing. I remember one of the old days that there were people who used to laugh a lot when I used to just suddenly throw some of those one-liners around.
I ate the juice box. What name is that?
Kevin. It's just a troll funny name. So because
okay, I'm dead.
trust me. I don't have that video. I think it got deleted, or I deleted it from Facebook, or was it from if I have that video, I don't know, on my laptop saved. There was one video where Simpy had a crazy laugh. I'm trying to think if I have it still, or I deleted it. I don't remember, but he went on. He literally, like, you know how people, when they have water in their mouth, they suddenly splash it out, kind of thing. So I said something funny, and he literally did that, and he was like this. He was holding his No, face with his two hands and trying to control his laughter.
I
And
eat
suddenly,
juice box.
yeah, he suddenly switched off his camera
Okay.
after that.
Let me just tell you something. The
Yeah.
best time to do the Cardiff transfer news is UK time. I'd say 4:15 p.m. 16:15. So yeah, I think that's the best time. UK
What we'll
time.
do is we'll quickly wrap up the video now, because
Yeah,
anyways, I
yeah.
think everyone who was there in the chat is tired, and then we can discuss those details in the backstage. So big up
Yeah.
to you as well, Ryan. Big up to Mike. Big up to everyone who joined in.
Big up to both of you, Mike, Beyond the Posts, and I've got to give a laughing shout out to I ate the juice box.
And big up to your dad as well, who came on in between as well.
Yeah.
So
Gaz
big up to
Munch.
yes. So is that his channel or is it just his ID?
I've posted about 3 videos on there.
Okay. So he doesn't do regular shows or anything.
No, don't do anything on there.
If he gets free time, you both can do videos together as well. So big up. You can be the Chelsea fan for some time, and he can be the United fan.
Yeah. I'm still laughing at I ate the juice box. Try and put a straw in next time. Okay, yeah.
I can bet on it. I can bet on it. I will ask Bhargav or someone to clip that part, because I think that will probably be a lot of other people will enjoy that, including the likes of Simpy and more. So
I ate the juice box.
I'll probably clip it myself otherwise. But big up to all you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think more or less, as a lot of people are saying, the season for Arsenal is kind of done. And I think the juice won't stop here. But big up to Ryan as well, and Mike and everyone who joined in. Be home, be safe, and keep having fun like Ryan is having right now. And enjoy your pandemic, but be home. Don't go out. Take care. Come on, you Gunners.
Bye-bye.